Hello and a very warm welcome to all News9 viewers. You're watching our special report. I'm Neha Bhan and I'm also joined in the studios. In fact, there's my colleague Ghulam Jilani. The creative force behind the documentaries will be presenting shortly. Also with me are our special guests on the show, Nirali Bhatia, who's a psychologist, and Amit Dubey, who's the author, ethical hacker and cybercrime investigator. But before we delve into the issue at hand, let me share something that most of us are familiar with. Some through personal experience, while others through the experience of someone they know. Ladies and gentlemen, this device in my hand is a phone. Undoubtedly, it is a necessity, but it also comes with its share of perils. Considering the prevalent scams we encounter on a day-to-day basis, one can only hope to avoid falling victim to any such fraudulent activities such as sextortion. Take a look at Jilani's report first.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Rahul Sharma from Delhi. मैं SBI से बात.
Hello, baby. Can we talk on a video call?
रात में एक मैसेज हाय का मैसेज आया, मैं एक्सेप्ट किया, हाय हेलो हुआ और जैसे मैंने ऑन किया तो उसके वीडियो पर न्यूड वीडियो आया और मैं घबरा के, अगर ये वीडियो ये चाहे संदेश अगर सोशल मीडिया में जाती है, कहीं भी जाती है, तो मुझे सुसाइड करना ही पड़ेगा।
As the name suggests, it is made out of two words. One is sex, another is extortion. It becomes sextortion.
They hit you at your emotions.
In last 1 year, close to 150 plus police officers from UP, they were victimized.
बहुत बड़ी खबर, वीडियो कॉल से ब्लैकमेलिंग का बड़ा खुलासा हुआ है। मथुरा से खबर है जहां सेक्सटोर्शन गैंग के 4 लोग पकड़े गए। హైదరాబాద్, ముంబై, జైపూర్ కేంద్రంగా ఈ గ్యాంగ్ కార్యకలాపాలు సాగిస్తున్నట్టుగా వీడియో కాల్ करके बनाते थे लोगों के अश्लील वीडियो।
Obviously, I do this for quick money. How do you think I can afford a iPhone Max Pro, a super costly handbag, and my own sedan? No big deal. I'll search social media, Facebook, Instagram, or in some cases, just use random numbers. In most cases, because of the kind of work we do actually, we know that they have a lot of money. I then send a friend request and wait for the other person to accept. The conversation starts generally with a hi. Later, the conversation shifts to WhatsApp, where actually the video calling happens.
India's 800 million internet users could rise to 1.5 billion by 2040. But there's a dark side to this. Blackmailers are duping people by posing as women on social media platforms and later sending them sexually explicit material. Fake videos trick victims into explicit video calls. Then comes the extortion threat.
Somebody will give you a video call. You pick up that call. On the other side, there will be some girl or some woman. That woman will be, doing all kind of activities. Like she'll be nude. And most of the cases, such kind of cases which we have found, there is actually no woman. The other side is also a video is playing. Along with that, when you pick up the call, your video also gets transmitted. And this whole thing, these people record. Once they record it, they start threatening the person. I have seen many people, getting extorted like this.
The sextortion has become a very easy method to extort people. Everybody is on internet. They do lots of video calls and they do FaceTime and many other platform that has evolved during this time. Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp, everywhere. And just to give you some numbers, in last 1 year, close to 150 plus police officers from UP, they were victimized. They were targeted for sextortion. So I think that is something which we have just observed, and every day I think, as per the official report of Grah Mantralaya, they get more than 2,000 plus registered cases online.
One of the first victims of sextortion who I worked with was a pre-pandemic case of a very young child. I think he was barely 19. He was on the verge of committing suicide, and thankfully he actually thought that let me ask for help, and he got in touch. And I still remember, I don't think I am worthy of living. I've, betrayed my parents' trust. I've done a sin. Sextortion as a scam has also evolved.
So to commit any cybercrime, they need at least two things: SIM card and bank account. Most of these bank accounts and SIM cards are anonymous. They are purchased or procured on those people's name. Those are not aware that there is a bank account on their name or a SIM card on their name. Most of them belong to villages or mazdoors, and so it becomes very difficult to reach out to the real people.
Because of social stigma, only 0.5% of sextortion crimes are reported to the police. These crimes are not even recorded under a separate category by the National Crime Records Bureau.
Even today, even nowadays, every day I get 2-3 calls where CEOs, senior people, retired people, they are targeted and they get scared. And especially the police officers, those are working somewhere and they get scared because there is a norm in police officer that you can't do such kind of thing. There's a legal provision. Because of that, you could be suspended.
A study by UK-based Sophos firm says sextortion messages led to losses of $500,000 in 2019 and 2020. India was identified as the source of about 4% of these messages. It was just behind Vietnam, Brazil, Argentina, and South Korea. A 2022 study by local circles says 42% Indians have fallen victims to online frauds in last 3 years. These include financial crimes as well as sextortion.
The problem is with the people who are not so much technology savvy. They just pick that call, and the activities on the other side, that nudity and that all that porn stuff that is going on, that gets recorded.
Jamtara in Jharkhand is infamous for cyber frauds across the country. But of late, police records say 70% of all cyber fraud cases across the country, including sextortion, are carried out by residents of Mewat, which is a region spread over Haryana, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh.
Of course, there are 5-6 new hubs. Those were created in last 1 year. New Alwar Mewat is very prominent. Everybody knows about it. It has, and most of these are border areas. So if you go and catch those criminals, if you're trying to arrest them, they normally move to other states, and it becomes very difficult because they need to follow all the processes to inform other states as well. So these criminals, they have become smart. They know how to hide their identity. They know how to hide their even current location. So I get IP addresses. I can trace their prospective locations. But as you know that they are very smart. They use VPNs nowadays. They use impersonated numbers. There are thousands and thousands of SIM cards which are being sent from Odisha to Delhi to different places to do this cybercrime.
When we look at sextortion as a scam, it's purely based on opportunity. Putting in their heads that I'm going to spread it across, everybody is going to see your nude video, inducing that fear, getting the money out of it. It could happen with anyone. They hit you at your emotions, not in your reasoning and ability. Otherwise, in front of a random person, will we ever join a video call? Will we ever share anything? Not really. So the pressure that people have is very different. The society, the judgment, fear of will my parents understand? Will my friends believe me, trust me? These are things that really eat you up. And unfortunately, these wounds are not visible.
I've seen many people they think it'll be a social stigma, and what my wife would say, what my brother will say, what my father will say, this has happened. They should realize that they are not accused in this case. They are victim of this case. I'll suggest they should never pay on to it.
In India, we have a special law called the Information Technology Act 2000. If you see Section 66E, for example, this is a violation of privacy. In case there is a capturing of or recording of any of the pictures of videos without consent, in case of any sexually explicit content being published online, it will be covered under Section 67A of the IT Act. Again, it has a punishment of up to 3 years or more.
The next time you get a call from an unknown number, especially if it is a video call, think twice before accepting it. You might as well become the next sextortion victim.
Well, Jilani, to be honest, it's quite scary. You've covered the story quite extensively. First of all, congratulations to you. But I want to know from you to begin with, what prompted you to do this story? What really triggered you? Was it something? For example, if I have to speak from a personal experience, one of my family members, very close to me, he got a call. He got a sextortion call. So I want to know from you what really prompted you to, just do this story.
So Neha, you rightly said it's not just me or anybody else. Anybody can become victim of this sextortion. So I was doing a story. I was meeting a cyber expert, and I came to know there was one ACP in Karnataka, Assistant Commissioner of Police, who had got a call, and he became a victim of sextortion gangs. So my point is that I was stunned to know it's not just the common people. It's even a person who is in the police only. He's getting victimized. And around the same time, there was a minister's PA in Karnataka government also who had become victim of this sextortion thing. So I started exploring around, and I found, as with one of the cyber experts, that there are 150 policemen in UP only who have become victims of cyber gang, who have become victims of sextortion. And I came to know about one person from Gorakhpur. I spoke to him on condition of anonymity. He told me about the story. So basically, point is that it's not just common people who are victims of cyber crime or sextortion, to be precise. Anybody, even a minister's PA, even a law enforcement guy like a cop to the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police has become a victim of cybercrime. So it is basically very rampant. It's not confined to gullible people, elderly people who don't know how to take calls. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to our parents. So it is rampant as it could be. If you look at the cybercrime cases, sextortion comes under this larger umbrella of cybercrime. With the advancement in technology, with the advancement of internet penetration in India, there is a flip side to it. At a time when we are talking about AI, we are talking about deep fakes. So flip side is the misuse, the abuse of the technology. So it comes in that category.
Right. Gulam, I want you to hold on to that thought. In fact, we're also joined by Mr. Amit Dubey, who is a cybercrime investigator, and Nirali, who is a psychologist. I'll come to you, Mr. Amit Dubey. Thank you very much, first of all, to both of you for joining us. Sir, sextortion, Mr. Dubey, is just one of the many cyber crimes that, that we've seen so far. I want to know from you, how do these cyber criminals primarily operate?
It is a very organized crime now, and to that extent, if I could figure it out, it could be of a size of 60-70,000 crores of revenue every year. It's very, very well organized. So there are multiple stakeholders involved in this entire process, whom we know actually they are the end criminals. Those are actually doing this crime. But behind that, there are people that are offering them all support systems, network applications, whether it is SIM card, whether it is bank account, whether it is how to move this money out from India, how soon we can siphon this money, because sometimes this money is in crores, and then they siphon it within day or within hours. Normally, it is not possible. You can't withdraw such kind of money through ATMs or any such kind of banking transactions. It's so quick, it's not possible. So there are some systems in place that are helping them to do it smoothly, and that's why they are mushrooming and growing very fast. Now there are 35 plus hotspots. And there are people those are actually helping them to relocate, to keep them hidden. All these kind of people are involved. That's why when we go and try to catch them as well, we never find them at this place. And there are some support involved locally, village level, and this is really becoming very scary.
Right. Mr. Dubey, do stay on with us. Nirali, I'll come to you. I want to know from you, what kind of cases have you dealt with and what is the extent of the trauma?
So thank you, Neha, for asking me this question. In fact, in last 3 years, we've dealt more than 2,500 sextortion cases, and they're just growing. The last year's trend was sextortion cases. Even a year before was sextortion cases. So I run an anti-cyberbullying organization where we have a portal and a mobile app where victims can report. And this is the number I'm talking where we've received reports on these kind of, on our platform alone. So where multiple places they have reported. Now, in terms of trauma, it starts with a simple fear and anxiety, but subject to individual, subject to their background, the way they have been emotionally persuaded into this, the trauma could be as extreme as, people going for self-harm. I've had at least 10% of the victims that I have worked with have at some point of time felt so helpless and so fearful that they believe that it is easier to die rather than live with this kind of pain. Also, there have been cases where, it's more than 3-4 years that the incident has occurred and the victims are still living under that kind of fear and trauma and pain. They've isolated themselves. There are trust issues. They also have started, impacting their real life relationships in terms of, most of the time sextortion victims are lured either on the dating sites or on social media. And both these platforms are used by youth to meet new people from love perspective, from friendship perspective, or even a casual hangout. Now, these are the places where your trust is broken, and this is a necessity. We need to, trust people. We need to build relationships, have healthy relationships. And because it is related to sex and sexual act, very few of them are able to talk about it because as per Indian society, this is a taboo subject even now in 2023. People will not talk openly about it. There's a massive fear of judgment, of character assassination. And hence, despite of being victim,
Nirali, I request you to please wait. In fact, we're getting a big news here. There appears to be, in fact, a major security breach that has taken place in the Lok Sabha. Major security breach in Lok Sabha. That is the big news that we're covering at the moment. There is a visitor in the parliament who has jumped into the Lok Sabha chamber from the gallery. This is the big news. It's, in fact, do remember today is the 22nd anniversary of the parliament attack. And on this particular day, this is in fact the big news. There's a major security breach in Lok Sabha. MPs have left the house. Now, a visitor in the parliament jumped into the Lok Sabha chamber from the gallery. A young man wearing blue jacket has jumped from the visitors gallery and started running around the house, causing panic. Right on your screens are the visuals. It's a big security breach in Lok Sabha. My colleague Brijesh would be joining us just in a short while from now to share with us all the details. This is a developing stories, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we are trying to get you all the latest updates that we're getting.
You can see Neha, this is the guy. Can we ask the production to zero in the guy who just picked up the sheet of papers which was there? This is the guy who has jumped from the visitor. Can we zoom in on this guy?
Blue jacket guy.
This is the guy. This is the guy who is kind of surrounded. Now he doesn't know where to go. This is the visual. And this is a big security breach. Neha, and imagine this coming on a day when Parliament was attacked in 2001. 22 years later, this could have been anybody, and this could have been perhaps, a throwback to only God knows what could have happened if these guys were armed or something like that. See, this is the person.
This is absolutely shocking, as you rightly mentioned, Brijesh. Absolutely shocking. There are many levels of security, and there, in fact, this person. If we,
I would like the production or anybody to to zero in to highlight the guy so that we can show.
They're on the job, Brijesh. They're on the job. It's just going to happen in a while. But for all those viewers who have just joined, I request you to please focus on the blue. The man wearing the blue jacket. He just stormed into the house and he's now seen jumping, in fact, on the tables of these MPs, causing a panic. Brijesh, if you could just tell us what exactly has happened here.
Honestly speaking, I'm at my wit's end, because if you go to this, because security post 2001 has been enhanced to a level where I can speak from my experience, because I'm yet to go to the new parliament, speak from my experience. You cannot enter into parliament just like this. There are several layers of security. You are given a pass. And you cannot enter without pass. They are frisking at various levels, and this person has jumped from the visitors gallery, so you cannot enter into visitor gallery with your phone on, with anything on, and all of it is checked, sanitized. And imagine on the day of 13th December, the day 22 years back, when Indian Parliament was under siege, a terrorist attack took place. 22 years later, this gentleman and one more person, they have jumped into the visitors gallery. We saw parliamentarians scurrying outside the house. They're telling that they opened some sort of a canister, so we don't know for sure whether a canister was there. He's kind of taking off his shoes or something, and this is a big security breach, because I mean nobody can enter this without.
Brijesh, that's exactly the point. In fact, we now have the focused visual right with us. That's the man. That is the man. In fact, if we could just focus on him. That is the man right on your screens. He jumped there from the visitors gallery, causing panic among the MPs. MPs there, Brijesh, absolutely shocked, taken aback.
Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who has spoken on this particular issue, which will be playing by its soundbite of him very soon, he said, and what he said is very scary, Neha. The two young men jumped from the gallery and something was hurled by them from which gas was emitting.
Absolutely,
and they were
shocking.
caught by MPs. They were brought out by security personnel, and house has been adjourned till 2 p.m. This is certainly a security breach, because today we observed the death anniversary of people who sacrificed their lives in 2001.
Right.
This is unbelievable. And the fact is that, I think, post first round of interrogation, more details will emerge as to what was the reason why these two individuals jumped into the well of the house.
Where did they come from?
Where did they come from? How did this security breach happen? How did nobody had any idea?
And that too today, when we're marking the 22,
Absolutely.
when we, in fact, December 13 marks 22 years to the 2001 attack on the parliament. And on this very day, we're witnessing yet another major breach in the Lok Sabha, where two men have jumped into the Lok Sabha chamber. In fact, we also have Karthi Chidambaram, who has spoken on the issue. Let's quickly listen in before Brijesh and I continue our discussion.
Suddenly, two people from the visitors' gallery jumped into the house. They had canisters in their hand. These canisters were emitting yellow smoke. One was attempting to run towards the speaker's chair. He was overpowered by members, and I do not know, they were shouting some slogans which I couldn't make about. But the fact that there were two people who could come into the visitors' gallery with canisters which could emit smoke, this smoke could have been toxic, it could have been poisonous, or it could have even been smoke bombs. We do not know, but it emitted an yellow smoke, and this is a serious breach of security, especially on 13th of December, the day in which Parliament was attacked in 2001.
How much would have been the age, sir?
20 and 30, young men wearing jeans.
It was a terrible experience. It is inside the floor of the house. Suddenly we found two persons jumped, and one is coming gradually forward. What is the target? How? Why they are moving like this? Nobody could guess. Suddenly some smoke started penetrating. It's a yellowish color. So all were in a nervous mood. I was expecting maybe they are going to blast something, or maybe they are going to shoot somewhere. But ultimately all left the house. It is a security lapse. Today is the day. We should not forget that it is the day of particular when our parliament was attacked. So how they entered into its instruments, releasing smoke, releasing sound, rushing one after one. No security inside the house. They at least jumped, young people.
जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं, विजिटर्स हो चाहे रिपोर्टर्स हो, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो कि किसी के टैग्स नहीं है रिपोर्टर्स के, सो एवरीबडी इज लाइक एक दूसरे से टकराते हुए जाते हैं. तो आई थिंक सो गवर्नमेंट को ध्यान देना चाहिए. आई थिंक इट्स अ कंप्लीट सिक्योरिटी लैप्स एंड कुछ भी हो सकता था हाउस के अंदर. एंड मोरओवर जहाँ पे हम खड़े हैं यहाँ पे प्रॉपर वॉच भी नहीं है. एमपीसी
कोई एक का नाम जिसका मैंने पास देखा सिक्योरिटी ऑफिशियल्स के साथ, कोई सागर करके है, और वो हमारे जो मैसूर के सांसद है माननीय प्रताप सिम्हा जी, उनके गेस्ट के रूप में हुआ है.
तो किस तरह का गैस था
अब ये क्या बताइए, सिक्योरिटी का काम है.
हालांकि कोई आप लोग को दिक्कत हुआ सांसदों को उस गैस से?
नहीं, कोई ऐसा नहीं, लेकिन भगदड़ मच गई, लेकिन उनको पकड़ लिया गया. दोनों लोग कस्टडी में हैं.
Brijesh, you know, what is to be worth noting here is they could have had ammunitions too. And look at them, you know, the sheer audacity. Parliamentarians are clearly taken aback. They're literally shook. They don't know how to react. And each and every one of them is also saying that it comes at a time, on a day, when we're marking the 22 years of the deadly parliament attack.
Honestly speaking, it doesn't matter whether today is it adds to the gravity of the situation that yes, today is the day when, you know, parliament was attacked, and 22 years later we are seeing a massive security breach on that very day. But the fact of the matter is that even if it had happened on any other day, it is a big security breach, you know, because the person has to be completely of unsound mind to indulge into this kind of act. You know, him jumping from visitors gallery, and I'm you know, actually looking for footage, because we are all scouring our mobile phones whether we can get footage of what the opposition members are claiming, that, you know, that he threw some canister out of which some fumes were coming out. And I think it is a big security breach. And see, this guy just took off his shoe, God knows for what. But
and there he's, you know, he can be clearly seen jumping over the benches.
Jumping over the benches, and he wanted to go ahead, but this member of parliament came forward and is now literally surrounded by 7-8 MPs. You can see that, you know, that he's literally surrounded by 7-8 MPs who displayed courage. But I mean, it's a very scary situation, and, you know, we'll have to wait and watch for the interrogation, because he must have been arrested and taken to the nearest you know, police station or some place where he would be interrogated at length by all the intelligence agencies as well as Delhi police to ascertain, you know, whether
who exactly is
what
this
kind
man?
of purpose,
what is the modus operandi,
what was the purpose of him jumping
Absolutely.
into the visitors gallery, what is his background? They'll have to do a detailed check. But whatever it is, you know, this particular incident has once again brought the scars of those you know, horrible memories of 2001 terror attack, because the fact is that yes, this guy, I mean, we have been extraordinarily lucky that he was that the situation was able to they were able to contain the situation so quickly. But the fact is that yes, when this guy jumped into the well, they're saying 2 people are there, and as you know, Sudhir Bandyopadhyay was saying that, you know, they threw some canister which was emitting fume and all. So it'll be very interesting to look at that visual. But it is a big security scare at the parliament, sanctum sanctorum of Indian democracy. And I think this is one visual which the security agencies would definitely not like to watch. The fact that somebody from the visitor gallery could not only breach in but also had the audacity to jump into
Brijesh, I'd like you to hold on to your thoughts. We're also joined by Mr. Yashovardhan Azad. Sir, I would want you to just explain what exactly has it happened. It has left all of us absolutely baffled, shocked. The parliamentarian, we here, everyone is just taken aback. How did this happen? What happened? Please explain.
Well, I mean, I can't tell you exactly how it happened, but I can tell you that the implications are, of course, very profound. The parliament has a huge layers of security. I mean, it is secured by the CRPF. It has its own security complement. It has the physical infrastructure to block people. In this particular case, they jumped, I presume, from the visitors gallery. And they were also guests of some members of parliament. So whenever these guests are allowed, they are screened, they are properly checked and verified. And obviously, there was something in their shoes which passed through the, I don't know how a can of canister can pass through a metal detector, because they must have passed through a DFMD, that is called the door frame metal detector. And also then they are also checked by the handheld metal detector, which is called the HHMD. So obviously there has been some lapse, and this kind of a lapse is certainly a little serious. You know, carrying arms would be difficult because they are immediately caught by the HHMD or the DFMD, anything which is very heavily metallic. But how did this pass through? Was it a plastic canister? Was it something which could escape the HHMD? Now, these are things which the security people must be worried about, and they must be checking. Secondly, fortunately, these people who jumped down, I mean, there were no slogans or something. They said Tanashahi nahi chalegi. So obviously, I hope it was just political. From what I can see, what happened just now and the reportage, it appears that the MPs, some of the MPs, 7, 8 MPs did a very, very brave job by cornering him. So in the end, I would just say that with the massive layer of security and the area which is surrounded by the security forces in the parliament arena, it is really shocking how these two people were able to escape with this, number one. Number two, there is a responsibility also on the guests because you do a kind of a verification, and you do kind of a physical verification too. And in this physical verification, this has escaped the notice of the security which is there in the parliament. There has been some negligence. Now, third, they have been taken to the, the Parliament police station, I presume, where the details will come out. And only when the details come out, then one will be able to comment further.
Azad, I'd also like to know from you, what does it really tell us, about the security apparatus? Does it kind of tell us that it's not on point, if I may say so?
Well, not the entire security apparatus, because the security apparatus comprises of three things. One is the pure physical infrastructure which you have, like you have the bollards, you have the drop gates. So whenever the police comes, you have a radio scan system. When the radio tags how the cars come in. Then there are the people who come through these special gates from the sides, and these are checked at various layers. So at that layer, the security men who pass these people through two things. One is the DFMD, the door frame metal detector. And the second, when they check them with their handheld metal detector. Those are the two people who are responsible. So it's unfortunate, and I'm sure action will certainly be taken against them.
Mr. Azad, do stay with us. In fact, for all of those who have just joined us, there, right on your screens are the visuals. There's a big security breach that has taken place in Lok Sabha. 3 people got into the well of the house. That is the latest update that we're getting with gas canisters. These people have been arrested by the police. And do remember, in fact, this comes on a day when we are marking 22 years of the Parliament attack that took place in 2001, claiming the lives of 9 people.
Yes, you're right. I mean, that was one of the most horrible incidents ever, in which the brave security men had lost their lives, and yet they killed all the terrorists. And this is very significant because this has happened on the same day. And that's why I would be, and many of us would be very, very keen to know as to why they did this and where did this motivation come from. I can see some, gas canisters releasing that yellow kind of a smoke. And some of the MPs also said that it was a kind of a sting they felt in the eye. Luckily, I think no damage has occurred, and we should thank everyone for that. If it was slightly lethal, then you can imagine what would have happened. And that's why, in that respect, you're right, this security lapse is serious, because anything could have happened. And therefore, it's very, very important, again, to look at the security procedures. In fact, people say that the security procedures are very, very tiresome, very, very lengthy, and very, very tedious. But that's the reason why it is, to prevent incidents of this kind. And today, after this has happened, I mean, I don't know how many more layers of security will be put. That will be not correct, but it will be better to streamline the security, and take certain action against those people and make it an example and have a complete drill and a kind of reform where people are trained and they are told how to take care that such things can never be allowed in the sanctum sanctorum of Parliament, that is the MP's hall. Over to you.
Right. My colleague, in fact, Brijesh, who is with us, also has gotten some more updates regarding this massive breach that has taken place in the Lok Sabha. Brijesh, take us through the details.
What we have been given to understand by the DCP of the Transport Bhavan, the place where these two more individuals have been arrested. Two protesters, a male and female, have been detained by local police. One female, Neelam, who has been arrested, and one person, Amol Shinde, from Maharashtra, is age 25. Both of them have been arrested and taken to Parliament Police Station. This incident happened outside the Parliament, also in front of Transport Bhavan, which is a running road, and where they were protesting with colour smoke. So what is happening is that the police is looking into it, but what they're saying right now, as of now, is that the person they were protesting, they were part of a political protest which was happening, and they jumped into the well, and they also said that dictatorship will not happen. The exact line was "Tanashahi nahi chalegi," and two people jumped inside the place where the member of Parliament stayed. I mean, if you look at that visual, which is being played on your screen right now, a boy in a blue color jacket is jumping in, trying to take off his shoe while he's being cornered by all the member of Parliament. There are 7-8 of them. They're cornering him, and that is from where he's been arrested. Luckily, he's looks like, as of now, there's no potential terror threat or such. But it is a huge security breach where two people are able to jump into the Lok Sabha chamber. I mean, there can be no denying fact. Luckily, I would again use the word luckily, that luckily it is no terror attack. Till now, no such information has been found. No point on our side, pontificating on that. But yes, it is a big security breach, and what is more worrisome is that it happened on a day when 21 years ago Indian Parliament was there was a terror attack on the Indian Parliament.
Absolutely, Brijesh, and we are also joined by our colleague Aditya Rajkol in the studio. Aditya, could you just share some of the details if you have any? It's a developing story, we understand, and as we move forward, more and more details will start coming out. But absolutely shocking, to say the least. It's a massive security breach, and as Brijesh rightly said, it comes on a day when we're already, observing the 22 years of the, dastardly Parliament attack that took the lives of 9 people. What really have we learned, if I can say so?
Well, that's right. It's a major security breach. Increasingly, it seems that it was some kind of a political protest, either for job security or some other reason. But it's amply clear that this is a major security breach. Heads will roll, and certainly there seems to be some kind of an audit that seems to be pending at this stage that needs to occur. But 2 youth have been in fact detained from inside the Parliament after they jumped inside the Lok Sabha chambers from the visitors gallery, and there are a couple of arrests that have also taken place outside the Indian Parliament in fresh videos that we have accessed, and I'll ask my producers to in fact play those videos from outside the Indian Parliament also, where 2 people are seen chanting slogans, and they are throwing coloured spray on the Delhi police, and you can see in these fresh visuals that are coming right outside the new Indian Parliament, where these 2 people are actually chanting slogans and are being carried and overpowered by the Delhi police personnel and arrested and taken away. So
I would just want to stop you, Aditya, for a minute, because now for the first time a still has emerged inside the Parliament, where it is showing that how this colour spray was being used by 2 people who jumped into it, and several parliamentarians were standing there looking aghast at what has happened. That included Rahul Gandhi, and apart from Rahul Gandhi, there were several other, Karti Chidambaram, several other member of parliaments who were inside this. And you can also see in that still, that which clearly depicts as to how that colour bomb or the colour spray was being used inside the Parliament. It is indeed a very scary security breach, Aditya.
And anything could have happened, Aditya.
Yeah. It's a horrific image, really. This photograph, we'll try to play that out here on News9 Live. This photograph is really, really asks the question that how did the security allow such canisters being inside the
I mean,
parliament.
somebody must have carried that canister inside, which is a big scare.
And the big point is that you have multiple layers of security, you know.
Several layers of security.
With the new parliament coming in, there's new technology that's been introduced. There are multiple layers of security, and a lot of lessons were learned after the parliamentary attack 22 years ago. But it seems that a fresh audit is necessary. How was this visitor without proper verification allowed inside the Indian Parliament is a big question. I'm sure both the Delhi police, the Parliament security and the central agencies would be looking at it in a greater detail. But as of now, their interrogations would be pending right now. These people are being interrogated right now. And this photograph certainly is horrific. You can see parliamentarians standing in horror, looking towards the visitors gallery.
Aditya, I could understand. I can still, because we have covered parliament for such a long time. I can completely understand. Like, you enter parliament on a bona fide credentials, all of a sudden something snaps, or not a mentally sound, or you jump into all. I can understand still with a sack full of salt. I can still understand that. But somebody being able to carry that smoke bomb or smoke spray inside the parliament, where they actually into the visitors gallery. If you remember, when you enter the visitor gallery, you are made, even if you're a bona fide journalist, you are made to deposit your mobile phone right at the start of the parliament.
Everything.
So there's no way you could have carried, and if they missed the smoke canister till that time, where they were actually able to jump inside the where the member of parliament, where the prime minister could be sitting, home minister could be sitting, the entire sanctum sanctorum of everybody, your guests would be sitting, and they were able to carry that. I find that completely unacceptable and unbelievable that this can happen, and they were not able to detect it.
Absolutely, Brijesh, this photograph is horrific. I mean, there are multiple layers of security. There's physical checking, there are metal detectors, there is other devices that are seen, but still it seems to be a major security breach that has happened. It's important to mention here also, although there's no connection right now, it's a parliament attack anniversary that we marked today. And there was a threat by Gurpatwant Singh Pannu and the Six for Justice, both designated
Adi, I'd just like you to hold on to that thought, Aditya. There, in fact, visuals, just what Aditya and Brijesh were talking about. These are the first visuals that you
look at the picture.
Absolutely,
look
shocking.
At the picture. It is. I'm telling you the reason why I got. I mean, I went into Tizzy when I saw this thing is the fact that how can you have this? I mean, I'm not going to use the word smoke bomb, but this is nothing other than that. How can anybody carry that thing? It
could have been anything.
It could have been anything. Inside the parliament, to a situation where they were able to jump from the visitors gallery into the place where all the member of parliament there. Rahul Gandhi is there. There is standing on the extreme right of your screen. Your Kanimo is there. I mean, it could have been anybody. Prime Minister might be sitting inside the parliament, or the home minister might be sitting
and as you rightly mentioned, there are multiple levels of security.
This is unbelievable, and multiple. This is multiple level of security, and what is important is forget multiple. The fact is that that they are layered. There are SPG guys who are inside this,
metal detectors, security this thing.
Then once you enter, you are frisked at the entry level. Where if you are the visitor, where you go to the visitors gallery, and then once you enter inside, all your electronic devices are confiscated, are put there. So you have to, keep your mobile phone there, keep all the electronic equipment there, and only then you go forward.
Right. We're also joined by Karthike in the studio, who's going to explain to us what exactly has happened here. Karthike, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, all of you. This is it's not a good day. 13th of December. This just reminds me, I was standing outside and suddenly I saw a CRPF guy being thrown outside the wall, and suddenly in front of me, because standing on the Secretariat gate, which was supposed to be the side entry to the main gate, and everything was closed, because only thing we heard was tut 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 tut, and then the siren started happening and the MP started to run out and they started to move towards what we know as the Vijay Chowk. Now what has happened here is that the person seems to have jumped out of the gallery. Now there is a difference between the Lok Sabha gallery in this new parliament and the Lok Sabha gallery of the old parliament. If you look at these galleries here, the Lok Sabha gallery of this parliament is not that high, and secondly the Lok Sabha gallery of the earlier parliament, if anyone who wanted to jump would end up jumping on the tables itself. It was higher and there was no place to jump. Now since it's a bigger hall, there is a place to land. The gentleman must have jumped, that intruder must have jumped right into the hall. That's one. Secondly, all the galleries which have been occupied, if you see on this side of the hall, You know, most of these galleries are occupied by people who are government officials, SPG officials, but this sort of a thing in Parliament is unimaginable. Even at that point of time, and let me put this across, even on 13th of December
they were not able to enter.
They were not able to enter the premise of the Parliament. Now what has happened for this time is that yes, there are no guns, there are no bullets, there is no firing, there is no casualty. But let's put this on screen. Please take me out of the screen. Let's put this on screen. Let's make this screen brighter. Let's create a brighter screen, please. So what happened is that they were able to get inside the sanctorum of the Parliament. That was not the case. Secondly, all of them were killed outside the outer rim of the Parliament. But in this case, they are not only inside, but the spray was also used. One. Secondly, there were 3 of them. Third, they were able to do something legally. It's like this is an analogy. This is like 9/11. You know, you get a pilot's license, you get trained in America, you get trained in Germany, and you ram it straight into the 2 towers. Now, what have these people done? You know, we have to understand that what's happening in the Parliament. People who go to Lok Sabha galleries and Raj Sabha galleries are vetted security wise. Let me go to Brijesh.
Kartikeya, there are 2 things. You know, the 2 member of parliaments who had arrested Hanuman Beniwal and Maluk Nagar are the 2 MPs who have actually pinned down those 2 individuals, and they are being their sound bites have come, which will be playing in a while now. And what we have been gathering from the Delhi police sources is that the antecedents of all the 4 people, 2 who were arrested outside the Parliament and the 2 inside, is being verified, and the initial round of questioning is being related to the security breach and also who gave them access. That is the line which the Delhi police is working primarily on. See, this is the new information which
there are
is
3
coming.
things. One thing is sure, that these are not terrorists per se, because they are without guns.
Right.
You know, these are
it seems more like a political protest.
Let me use the word. This is something which happens in parliaments in Anglo-Saxon democracies. These are like activists. You know, they disturb the proceedings. That's one thing. Secondly, they have used the normal procedure, which means that the vetting process somewhere has failed, that the intelligence agencies were not able to vet. Now it's such a problem. Next time normal people, normal civilians, I mean to say, who want to go to Parliament, they will have a tough time getting inside the Parliament. The third and the most fundamental aspect is that they did not masquerade as, they did not misidentify themselves. When the Parliament attack took place on 20 years ago, they had forged stickers of MHA. They came through the normal process. Please understand, they did not sneak inside the Parliament complex. That's the most important thing. Let me just tell you the difference. 20 years ago, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government was in power, they sneaked in, they had weapons, it was a conspiracy. What happened was they wanted to kill the parliamentarians, they wanted to take them hostage, they wanted to go inside the central hall, they wanted to go to Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha, but they had no idea. Here what they have done is, they have applied some, and then, has any MP endorsed it? That is question number 1. Under which quota they have come? That's the question number 2. Third question is, how did the vetting process commence? Fourth, any vetting of a person who is a visitor has to be done very discreetly. I have covered Parliament for 20 years. Now there is something which I really, I'm seeking answers. When you sit here in this gallery, generally the watch and ward staff or the security staff, they stand here. They do not allow a person to get up like that. In fact, you cannot sit cross-legged like this. You have to sit like this. This is the way certain decorums of those who sit in the gallery work. They continuously stand. Now, the gentleman who jumped, I think they must have come prepared, because they wouldn't have taken more than a second to jump, which means that they knew what they were supposed to do. One. Secondly, it's not as if they wouldn't have been security checked. Most of them, they were checked by the security. That is why they ended up without anything. But the issue is that this is a failure of intelligence.
No, but it's not like they ended up without anything. You know what we are also gathering, one stream of thought is that they carried canister with them, which makes the entire intrusion all the more deadly.
Okay, now
and they were carrying what
in their shoes.
In their shoes. That is the reason why you see when the guy fell, he took out his shoe.
If you are saying that they were carrying a canister, that is a pure security breach, because you are not supposed to take edible, any bottled perfume or anything inside the parliament. Any reporter or a woman reporter, a man reporter, you are supposed to deposit large bags. Only male purses are allowed. Even women purses which are bigger in size are not allowed inside the parliament. We will continue to play these pictures, but on the side of it, let us take the reactions that are coming in.
देखिए, इस वक्त जो चीज आप मेरे हाथ में देख रहे हैं, ठीक यही वो स्मोक बम है जिसका इस्तेमाल न केवल संसद परिसर में बल्कि सदन के भीतर किया गया था। सदन के भीतर जिस स्मोक बम का इस्तेमाल किया गया था, ठीक वही सदन के भीतर जिसका इस्तेमाल किया गया था, ठीक उसी स्मोक बम को इस वक्त आप टीवी 9 के कैमरे पर देख रहे हैं। ये वो स्मोक बम है जिसका इस्तेमाल, आप सोचिए, इतना बड़ा स्मोक बम अगर आप कहीं से जूते में लेकर जाएं, पेंट में लेकर जाएं, कैसे लेकर जा सकते हैं? क्योंकि आपको पार्लियामेंट की सिक्योरिटी वाले चेक करते हैं। इसके बाद भी अगर आप सदन के भीतर लेकर चले जाते हैं, इसके बाद भी अगर आप सदन के भीतर इसको इस्तेमाल कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि इसको इस्तेमाल करने के लिए भी आपको माचिस चाहिए, अगर उसके बाद भी आप इस्तेमाल कर पाते हैं तो कितनी बड़ी सुरक्षा में चूक है, सुरक्षा में सेंध लगाई गई है, ये आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं। और इसलिए ये सबसे बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है, क्योंकि बतौर पत्रकार जब हम जाते हैं प्रेस गैलरी में
कि जहाँ पे हम लोगों की सीट है, उसके कोने पे पीछे ऊपर दर्शक दीर्घा है, वहां से एक आवाज आती है धड़ोम जैसी। हमने लौट करके देखा और हमें लगा कि शायद ऊपर से कोई गिरा है। तो जैसे ही देख ही रहे थे क्या गिरा क्या हुआ, एक ऊपर से दूसरा आदमी कूदा। जैसे ही वो कूदा तो एकदम इंटेंशन साफ दिखी कुछ गड़बड़ है। तो वो जहाँ से निकलते हैं या जिधर दौड़ सकते थे वहाँ कर नहीं गए, सीटों के बीच में जंप करता हुआ जंप जैसे ही तीसरी पे जंप कर रहा था तो तुरंत हम 6-7 MP लोग भागे, क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी की जो लड़की जो मेंशनिंग करती है, ले जा करके डॉक्यूमेंट देती है, वो थी, तो उस पर गिरा या क्या, वो तो बेहोश सी हो गई, रो रही थी। जब हम बाद में देखा, जैसे उसकी तरफ भागे तो उन्हें एकदम जूता निकाला तो हल्का सा झिझक हुई, पर एकदम फिर टूटे। उसमें से मैं भी था और कई 6-7 MP और भी थे। तो जैसे ही उसे पकड़ा और पकड़ के उसकी पिटाई कर रहे थे, ये नील भी पड़ा हाथ में, तो उस समय गैस और एक धुआं सा होने लगा और पूरी पार्लियामेंट में एक स्मेल और एक बदबू सी होने लगी। और उनको फिर सिक्योरिटी वाले आए और ले गए, और सिक्योरिटी वालों ने पिटाई तो बहुत ही करी, अधमरे कर दिया।
खौफ का मंजर था जब ये हुआ, उस समय क्या आप लोग के मन में आ रहा था?
आप लोग तो पूछ सकते हो कि खौफ का मंजर था क्या नहीं था, अब हम जवाब भी दे सकते हैं। उस समय तो केवल ये था हमें मारने आया है और पकड़ के या तो इसे मारो या इस पर कोई हथियार चला ना पाए तो इसके हाथ पैर पकड़ लो इसको।
अब पूरी तरह से कब्जे में आप लोगों ने कर लिया था?
पूरी तरीके से पकड़ लिया था और उठा लिया था ऊपर, किसी ने हाथ किसी ने पैर पकड़ के चारों तरफ से पिटाई भी उसकी सभी कर रहे थे।
सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच मानते हैं कि बड़ा सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच है
ये मैं मानता क्या हूँ, तो रिजल्ट अपने आप में सर्टिफिकेट है कि सिक्योरिटी की तो कहीं ना कहीं चूक तो है ही है।
आज 13 दिसंबर है, कोई बड़ा घटना
ये देखिए, ये 13 दिसंबर से डायरेक्ट ये चीज़ जुड़ी हुई है। 13 दिसंबर का दिन है, आज ही वो घटना घटी है, आज ही वो कूदे हैं और कूद के वो जिस तरह भागे हैं, और भागने के बाद जिस तरीके से उन्होंने गैस कुछ भरा वो चीज़ साथ ले रखी थी वो खोली है, तो ये तो बिल्कुल प्री प्लान था, जो ऐसा देखने से प्रथम दृष्टि में जो प्राइमा फेसी में जो लगता है।
अचानक देखा कि दर्शक दीर्घा से कोई नीचे गिरा, हम लोगों ने कोई गिर गया होगा, तुरंत देखा दूसरा भी एक छलांग लगा दिया। 2 लड़के थे, काले पैंट शर्ट सब पहने थे, फिर वो कूद करके इधर उधर जाने लगे, तो समझ नहीं आया कि उसके बाद लगा कि ये जानबूझ कर हुए हैं। तो बाकी माननीय सांसद थे, उनको घेरने लगे, पकड़ने, तुरंत दोनों को पकड़ लिया गया। तब तो एक ने जूता निकाला, जूता से कोई ये निकाल करके पीला वाला धुआं छोड़ने लगा, तो दोनों का हाथ से वो निकला, वो भी छुड़ा लिया गया। फिर दोनों को पकड़ करके बाहर ले गए, मार्शल भी आ गए, इतना ही पता चला।
कुछ नारे भी लगा रहे थे क्या?
तानाशाही नहीं चलेगा ऐसा कुछ बोल रहे थे। फिर बाहर आके देखे, उनको तो पकड़ लिए थे, अब ले गए। क्यों आए, लखनऊ से संभवतः आए हैं, क्या है उसके पीछे बाकी पता चलेगा।
कुछ नाम वाम तो नहीं पता चला हुआ?
नहीं, उनको पीछे है।
तो क्या अंदर में क्या माहौल था? पूरा लोग पैनिक मच गया होगा?
थोड़ा तो चिंतित थे लोग, कैसे ये लोग आ गए, ये सब सामान कैसे आया, तो दूसरा कुछ हो सकता था, ये सब चर्चा हो रही थी। भाई का पहले तो थोड़ा घबरा गए लोग कि क्या वो ऊपर से कैसे लोग कूद गए, कौन है ये लोग, बाद में चला कि केवल शायद प्रचार करने के लिए लोग अपना जाहिर करने के लिए आए थे। बाकी छानबीन से पता चलेगा पीछे किसका हाथ पकड़ के आए हैं, कैसे आए हैं, क्या है।
सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच इसको मानते हैं आप? 13 दिसंबर भी है।
ये सिक्योरिटी तो और कड़क होना चाहिए, छानबीन होना चाहिए, चाहे तो मेटल डिटेक्टर यूज करना चाहिए। कोई भी छोटा मोटा चीज़ कोई लेके आ जाएगा तो पकड़ने के लिए व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए। फोन नंबर रख के आते हैं लोग, लेकिन इस प्रकार कोई सामान लेके आ जाए तो आगे और दूसरा भी कुछ ला सकते हैं, इसलिए सावधान रहना चाहिए।
स्पीकर गैलरी में जब हम हाउस देखने के लिए गए थे तो उसके बाद में साथ में जैसे बैठे हुए थे, जब साथ में जैसे बैठे हुए थे तो वो एकदम ही सडनली हमें आवाज़ आई कुछ नीचे गिरने के लिए। तो जैसे जब नीचे जब गिरे तो देखा कि कोई बंदा कोई कूद गया। हमने सोचा शायद कोई गिर गया है वैसे, लेकिन वो नीचे गिरा और फिर वो सडनली भागने भी लगा। जैसे स्पीकर
एमपीज की तरफ भागने लगा
स्पीकर की तरफ,
और जैसे ही उसको पकड़ा तो उसके पीछे पीछे एक दूसरा भी आदमी था, वो एकदम से बालकनी से कूदा। और जो पहले जो आगे जा रहा था उसको एमपीज ने पकड़ा, तो उसने अपने शूज में से कोई स्प्रे निकाला और सारे में स्प्रे करने लग गया।
शूज के अंदर से निकाला?
शूज के अंदर से निकाला उसने,
मतलब छुपा के लाया था?
जी जी। और जो दूसरा भी था वो उसने भी अपने शूज में से निकाला और तभी इतनी भगदड़ मच गई।
वो कुछ नारा भी लगा रहा था क्या अंदर में? कुछ
नहीं, नारे का तो हमें पता नहीं, क्योंकि इतनी भगदड़ मच गई थी। हम लोग वहाँ से भागे जान बचा के, बट एमपीज ने उसको पकड़ लिया।
एमपीज नहीं पकड़ा?
हाँ जी, हाँ एमपी साहब ने पकड़ा उसको ना, काफी मतलब हाँ जी हाँ जी, काफी एमपीज ने भी पकड़ा उसको। वो तो भागता जा रहा था, मतलब उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश करी। फिर एक के साथ में वो ऊपर से, मतलब पहले एक जैसे कूदा फिर दूसरा भी कूदा, फिर उसको भी पकड़ने के लिए काफी कोशिश करी उन्होंने। ज्यादा दूर तक नहीं जा पाया, उनको एमपीज ने पकड़ लिया वहाँ पे। फिर बाद में सिक्योरिटी वगैरह वाले भी आ गए। तो कुछ स्प्रे कुछ ऐसा हो रहा था, स्पार्कल सा होकर फिर उसमें स्मोक आ रहा था बाहर।
नहीं, कहीं चूक तो हुई है ही। और जब वो एक व्यक्ति नीचे कूदा होगा, लेकिन हमको लगा कि गिर गया है। जब दूसरा व्यक्ति भी उतर रहा था, रेलिंग पकड़ करके कूदने की कोशिश कर रहा था, तब सबके ध्यान में आया। तो इतने इस बीच में सब लोग सतर्क हो गए थे। नहीं, मैं चेयर पर था, दूर था मैं थोड़ा सा। मैंने देखा एक कोई नहीं, मैंने बताया ना कि वो कूदा, उसने फिर वो जूता खोलने की कोशिश की, उसमें से कुछ निकाला, एक ने वो पिट करके वो धुआं निकल रहा था उसमें से। इन द मीन टाइम जो हमारे सुरक्षा कर्मी हैं, उन्होंने तत्परता के साथ दोनों को काबू में कर लिया और अब जांच होगी, पता चलेगा क्या फैक्ट्स हैं।
बहुत बड़ा सिक्योरिटी चौक है, क्योंकि जब से ये नया पार्लियामेंट बना है इसका ये प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है। आने जाने का रास्ता एक ही है, कोई भी पार्लियामेंट में जा रहा है, कैंटीन में सब इकट्ठे बैठ रहे हैं, वो थोड़ा सा सेपरेट चाहिए। पुराना पार्लियामेंट था, ये सब चीजें अलग अलग थी, तो वहाँ तक पहुँचने को 10 बार सोचता था। लेकिन ये बहुत बड़ी सिक्योरिटी चूक हुई है।
कोई स्लोगन भी कर रहे थे, वो नारे भी लगा रहे थे,
तानाशाही बंद करो, कोई ऐसे नारे लगा रहे थे, लेकिन बहुत ध्यान नारों की तरफ हमारा गया ही नहीं। हम तो बचाव के चक्कर में भागे के किसी तरीके से इनको पकड़ लिया जाए।
ਦੋ ਸੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੇ
ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਕੁੱਦੇ ਨੇ,
ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਕੁੱਦੇ।
ਇਹਨੂੰ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਲੈਪਸ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਆ।
ਅੱਜ ਬਰਸੀ ਹੈ ਨਾਲੇ,
ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ, ਪਰ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਈਵਨ ਧੂਏ ਵਾਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆ।
ये ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ तस्वीर दिखा रहे हैं कि सर लोकसभा में आज इस तरीके से सिक्योरिटी लैप्स हुआ है, उस पर आपकी क्या प्रतिक्रिया, क्या रहा?
नहीं, मेरी यार प्रतिक्रिया नहीं, हम तो वहीं थे, 2 लड़कों ने ऊपर से छलांग लगाई है और उसके बाद क्योंकि उनके हम लोगों ने तो कुछ देखा नहीं, देखा कि एक लड़का भाग रहा, वो जो हमारे टेबल हैं उसको क्रॉस कर रहा था। वी वर ऑल स्टैंडिंग, तो वो थोड़ी देर में वो धुआं निकलने लगा, तो देन वी वर ऑल अफ्रेड, हम सब डर गए। तो फिर कुछ एमपीज ने उनको पकड़ा, दबाया और फिर पकड़ के सिक्योरिटी को दे दिया। अब वो गैस क्या थी मुझे पता नहीं है, पर हमको तो लगता है वो हेलीकॉप्टर की लैंडिंग वाली गैस।
नहीं, कहीं चूक तो हुई है ही। और जब वो एक व्यक्ति नीचे कूदा होगा, लेकिन हमको लगा कि गिर गया है। जब दूसरा व्यक्ति भी उतर रहा था, रेलिंग पकड़ करके कूदने की कोशिश कर रहा था, तब सबके ध्यान में आया। तो इतने इस बीच में सब लोग सतर्क हो गए थे।
आप वहाँ मौजूद?
नहीं, मैं चेयर पर था, दूर था मैं थोड़ा सा। मैंने देखा एक कोई नहीं, मैंने बताया ना कि वो कूदा, उसने फिर वो जूता खोलने की कोशिश की, उसमें से कुछ निकाला, एक ने वो पिट करके वो धुआं निकल रहा था उसमें से। इन द मीन टाइम जो हमारे सुरक्षा कर्मी हैं, उन्होंने तत्परता के साथ दोनों को काबू में कर लिया और अब जांच होगी, पता चलेगा क्या फैक्ट्स हैं।
Yeah, some people jumped out from the gallery and some kind of gas they're spreading inside.
Lok Sabha?
Inside Lok Sabha.
क्या हुआ?
Gas jumped out.
गैस छिट रहा है।
Some gas.
कितने लोग?
Jump करके आ रहे हैं।
बहुत सारे लोग हैं।
बहुत सारे लोग। Of course I have seen.
How many people were there?
Jumped out from the gallery.
How many persons?
And they are trying to run and beating, some kind of gas is being thrown on the inside the house.
किस तरह की कर रहे थे?
Boilo.
कुछ नारा वगैरह भी लगा रहे थे?
लोकसभा में संसद चलती शून्य प्रहर का चल रहा था, उसी में अचानक दो व्यक्ति अपने गैलरी से कूद पड़े। कूदे मतलब पहले वो आगे वाले पिलर को लटकते रहे, लटकने के बाद में कूद पड़े, एक के पीछे दूसरा भी कूदा। कूदने के बाद में दोनों ने बेंच के ऊपर से कूदना स्टार्ट कर दिया। एक बीच में आ गया फिर, तो उसने जूते उतारे तब तक वो सोच रहा था किधर भागो, तो चारों तरफ से सांसद आ गए, जब पकड़ लिया उसको, दूसरे को भी पकड़ लिया, पीछे को भी। उसके बाद में अचानक गैस आना स्टार्ट हुआ, तो उसके जूते में था, कहीं था मालूम नहीं था। येलो कलर का गैस है, थोड़ा सा बर्निंग हो रहा है नाक में उसके। तो वहाँ हम थे, तो बाद में पूरी पकड़ लिया। एक मुझे लगता है एक को पकड़ा हुआ है अभी भी, दूसरे को भी पकड़ा हुआ है अंदर, अभी चल रही हो।
माननीय सांसद जो थे तुरंत उन्होंने भी घेरा, उसको पकड़ा। तब तक उन्होंने जूता के अंदर से कुछ निकाल करके वो गैस जो होता है कलरफुल धुआं छोड़ने लगा। कोई डेंजरस कुछ नहीं था, लेकिन चिंता की विषय ऐसा सामग्री लेके अंदर आ गए, ये चिंता की विषय है। ऐसा ना हो इसलिए सतर्क रहना पड़ेगा, सबको टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा। तो कोई जस्ट न्यूज बनने के लिए, कोई दृष्टि आकर्षण करने के लिए उसे किए थे, देखने से लगा। बाकी दोनों को पकड़ के मार्शल ले गए बाहर।
देखिए, लोकसभा में जिस समय 0 आवर चल रहा था, उसमें विजिटर्स गैलरी से मैंने 2 युवाओं को नीचे कूदते हुए देखा। पहले वो लटकने के बाद कोई एक के बाद एक करे, कुछ नारेबाजी कर रहे थे। नारेबाजी सुनाई नहीं, क्योंकि माइक चल रहा था उसमें पार्लियामेंट का, लोकसभा का। उसके बाद जैसे हमारे एमपीज लोग उसको तरफ दौड़े, क्योंकि वो पीछे से कूदने के बाद बेंचों को वो करके फांद करके उनको जंप करता हुआ आगे आ रहा था। तो बीच में खैर वो पकड़ा गया, एक दूसरा जो था वो पीछे का पकड़ा गया। हमारे एमपीज ने उसको पकड़ा, दौड़ करके जो वहाँ आसपास के हमारे एमपीज थे, बाद में सुरक्षा के लोग, सुरक्षाकर्मी भी वहाँ पर आए। और जैसे उसको पकड़ा, उसके बाद उसने तुरंत जो है गैस छोड़ी है। एक जो है येलो कलर की गैस थी, दूसरे वाले जो पीछे था उसने भी गैस छोड़ी है। एक बहुत बड़े सुरक्षा का हमारी चूक आज हुई है।
ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है। बहुत ही टाइट सिक्योरिटी के बाद भी इस तरह की घटना हो जाए तो ये दुखद है, क्योंकि ये तो और कुछ भी बहुत हो सकता था।
उस पे किया था 2
Okay.
धुआं चलते हुए।
So let me show you. This is the new parliament, and parliament is one single complex. You know, it's one single complex. You have old parliament here, you have new parliament here. There is no boundary. In fact, people can come. But just to put the story for our viewers, these are the people who did not cross into the parliament. They were not trespassers. They trespassed into Lok Sabha. They came inside parliament because they had a pass. They had an appointment. They were verified. People who sit in these galleries are verified by INB. Intelligence Bureau vets them. You just don't get a pass like that. For example, if I want to meet a minister, then you know I can go inside parliament. I will be escorted to minister's room, and then I will be told that you can leave now. But in this case, what has happened, that both of them jumped inside the parliament. They jumped inside the parliament. Not only they jumped inside the parliament, they had a canister in hand. Now, having a canister in hand is a big problem, because canister in hand taken from the shoe, basically they were able to breach the security. How do you breach the security? I mean to say that they were able to fool those who were frisking them. When you go to parliament, you are frisked not once but at least twice, minimum twice. And suppose you are going to meet the Prime Minister, you are frisked thrice. So any parliament security, the frisking takes place at 2 levels. The first frisking is outside, the second frisking takes place when you enter the complex. So for them to evade this twice over is something which really baffles me. Aditya.
Well, Karthikeya, I have an update. A special commandos unit of the Delhi Police SWAT commanders have reached the premises of the Indian Parliament. This is as per a protocol SOP. Every time such a breach happens, the commandos are activated. There are other central agencies and other commando forces that are also in the periphery of the Indian Parliament right now. There's another update that's coming in. We are waiting for an official confirmation that one of the protesters who was arrested outside the Indian Parliament was chanting slogans for Manipur. And she was saying that, the kind of violence that has been seen in Manipur cannot be tolerated, and there needs to be justice that needs to be done. As of now, police sources tell us that there is no Khalistani angle that is being talked about, that SFJ and Gurpatwant Singh Pannu had given a threat, but it seems that it is some kind of a political protest. But two of the protesters who were arrested outside the Indian Parliament have been taken to Transport Bhavan police station, and the special cell would be now interrogating all the three people who have been arrested.
There are a total 4 people, Aditya. 2 were inside the parliament and 2 were protesting outside the parliament. We have seen visuals of 2 being taken away, and the 2 are inside. So the special cell anti-terror unit is going to interrogate them, and this is the I would say, like, the picture of the day.
Yes.
I mean, it's an unbelievable picture where, I mean, nobody would have in his right mind, Aditya and Karthikeya would have thought that we are going to witness. It's like, Holi being played inside the
more than Holi, Karthikeya.
What does this
and the person on the extreme right is Rahul Gandhi.
What does this remind me? And this is to all our viewers who are listening to us. We have kept this visual here. I think in my 20 years of coverage, the only time I have seen a person using a spray when Telangana debate was taking place, and it was when those opposed to the creation of Telangana, one MP had got the spray and he had used the pepper spray inside the parliament. Even then, this smoke was not there.
And the member was carrying it.
And this is very important. This is what I was talking about. This is where the galleries are. Imagine where the man has jumped from. This is where the galleries are. So this is the jump. It's a 15 feet jump. And you see, for then anyone to go here, jump here and run, I think this is a major breach, because even when we journalists used to cover in the old parliament, even when we would do like this, the security would say, आपका पेन गिर जाएगा, आपका पेपर गिर जाएगा, आप तुरंत पीछे आइए. मतलब you could not do that, because even in old parliament, Prime Minister would be sitting here, leader of opposition would be sitting here, and Prime Minister would have seen like you. But in this house, Parliament, the Prime Minister is far away. So the gallery, those who are in the Parliament are far away from the people who are very important. So there is a difference. But for that guy to jump and run and start running all over the place is something, Brijesh, unimaginable.
It is unimaginable, Karthikeya, and I think, the biggest worry, at least for me, is because, we have been covering Parliament for such a long time and all, was the fact that guy was able to carry that canister inside his shoe and was able to evade any kind of detection till he was sitting inside the Vista Gallery is a very, very scary situation. There is a latest info which has come in that the person who has been arrested, his name is Sagar Sharma, and one of the pass which has been recovered from him is said to be the signature of the person concerned, or the member of parliament concerned, is the member of parliament from Mysore, Pratap Simha. This is what the initial report is coming. We are waiting for more clarity on this as to who signed the pass, because Hanuman Beniwal, one of the other 2 person who caught hold of the person concerned, he said like they gave him a sound thrashing, but he said that that there should be a detailed investigation, and he also emphasized the point that it should also be investigated as to who signed on the pass. So that is becoming a big issue now.
It's not a small joke. People forget. Aditya, I was there that day. I can never forget it.
Yeah.
I used to work in the Week magazine. PTI building ke samne khada tha. I was told by my editor, why don't you go to the parliament? I walked all the way to the parliament, and I thought there were the crackers were being burst inside the parliament, and suddenly when I reached the parliament, I saw a CRPF man. You remember the old entry point for the journalists in front of the railway bhavan, and I thought, what is this happening? Why is this CRPF guy being thrown from the ledge? And then now people would recall he was the guy who survived the firefight which took place on the lawns in front of the LOP's office. So in the and people died there.
Yes.
Camera persons shot there.
Yeah.
SPG neutralized people. There was a firefighting. Negi died. His son is part of watch and watch staff.
Yes.
The doors have to be closed. You know, so many people died. It's not a small thing. The gardeners died. You know, when we say, oh God, this has happened, let me tell you, it was not a good, it was a very bad day. And you know, I was outside on the front gate, and entire military had come there from the old cantonment. There was chaos at that point of time, and then the military had to be sent back. Someone had to, you know, someone from the government reminded that there was no order for the military to leave the cantonment. So entire military went back to the cantonment, and the NSG and the Delhi police took over. There was complete chaos outside the parliament because I was standing outside and I knew what was happening. And the second time it happened in 2006, it was a false alarm. Raj Sabha mein ek bag rakh diya tha kisi ne, to pura parliament clamped down kar liya, and I got stuck inside parliament for 5 hours. You know, those who were, jo bahar chale gaye, they couldn't come inside, and those who were inside, they were asked to stay put in the room, you know. So this will lead to a big investigation.
That pass, picture of that pass has come.
Okay.
I think,
can you give it to the output? So
yes, I have already given it to them. What I'm saying is that it clearly mentions that the name of the person is Sagar Sharma, and the name of the member of parliament which is being shown is Pratap Simha, who is a Mysore MP. So, you know, I think the police will be talking to everybody concerned as to know, you know, how exactly
see, that is what
did he came to know.
That is what I'm saying. Absolutely, that is what I'm saying. MP has to pass it. MP needs to verify it. Then it goes to information broadcasting. Boss, you have been a PIB reporter. I still have my PIB card with me. Even with the PIB, it means that you are verified by the MHA, so I can get my pass any day. Those without any government verification, without formal verification, cannot get a pass like that. One.
Kartikeya, again I would emphasize, getting inside is one part of the story. The bigger story is, how was he able to carry that smoke canister without being electronically detected till the visitor gallery?
Absolutely.
That is the biggest
lapse. You see, when you are inside the parliament, you are frisked here. That's the first point of frisking. When you get inside the parliament, there is a second line of frisking. So the frisking takes place. Now, I'm saying, okay, the frisking at the outside failed. But what happens in the frisking which takes place inside? Not only you have see, this is like unimaginable. In parliament is one place where two people frisk you at the same time. Anyone who has gone to the parliament, एक आदमी ऐसे कुर्सी पे बैठा रहता है, एक आदमी खड़ा रहता है, मुझे याद है, तो जो कुर्सी पे बैठा रहता है, ऐसे कोई मुझे कुर्सी देना जरा, I'll show them. Just give me the chair. Just give me the chair. I'll show you. जो एक आदमी यहाँ कुर्सी पे बैठता है. कैमरा ऑन कीजिएगा. एक आदमी यहाँ कुर्सी पे बैठता है. जब वो ऐसे बैठता है तो आपकी पॉकेट की फ्रिस्किंग करता है साइमल्टेनियसली. एक आदमी खड़ा होता है, वो आपकी चेस्ट पे फ्रिस्किंग करता है. दो आदमी साइमल्टेनियसली आपकी फ्रिस्किंग करते हैं. वो फ्रिस्किंग तब होती है व्हेन यू एंटर द पार्लियामेंट, इन द सेंस जब आपकी पार्लियामेंट में चेकिंग हो जाती है कि वेदर कोई मेटालिक थिंग इज नॉट देयर. नाउ इन एब्सेंस ऑफ frisking like this, for something to fail is unimaginable. That's one. And the second thing is, there is something called anticipation. If someone is moving towards the gallery, and is doing like that, I mean to say there has to be a response, because the British people stand there.
But the thing is that people do stand there, but you know, it's that is a split second decision. That is a split second decision, and you know, honestly speaking, it is next to impossible for anybody to preempt it. What I am saying is that, you know, you frisk a person, you double frisk a person, you frisk him 3 times. The problem is that the guy was able to carry that smoke canister hidden inside his shoe and was not detected by the security staff. It could have been anything. And that is the scary. If you look at the visual, the guy jumps, then he jumps to other side, then he takes off his shoe. See, this is the time when he takes off the shoe and then he hurls that. So point is, it could have been anything. I am not worried about whether he was, you know, of sane mind, political protest and all. I am most worried about that how he was able to carry that thing inside the parliament that far. And that is a big security.
I'm joined by Sanjay Kulkarni and Ellen Rao. I'll go to Mr. Kulkarni. Sorry I made both of you wait. Time's up. Mr. Kulkarni, I mean to say, this sort of a breach, you know, both me, Brijesh, we have covered parliament for a long time. Aditya is a security expert, you know, we spent better part of our youth, standing in front of gate number 4. Now we have a new parliament, which allows you less mobility, but nonetheless, it is part of that same sanctum sanctorum, in the sense it's part of the same complex. Your comments on this sort of a breach on 13th, and what makes this breach different?
Firstly, of course, it's a very serious security breach, and obviously because 13th of December, everybody knows what happened in 2001, and one has to be very, very careful. Thirdly, I would say the investigations will reveal as to what exactly is the motive. Doesn't seem to be a very threatening motive, but yes, the fact that they breached, they could carry a smoke bomb, and the one what I saw from your visuals, the one outside the Parliament building also had the similar smoke bomb as what was being put inside the Parliament. So there are, I understand, 2 people being caught outside, including one lady over there, and there are 2 and kind of chanting of slogans. Probably this kind of a thing should not have happened. That is something which is, as you rightly said, Karthike, the checks are so open. There are metallic checks. There are so many frisking that are being done. Even if I were to go even as a Lieutenant General, they would not leave me. Everything would be seen nice and proper before I'm entered in. So anybody and everybody. So I don't know how they could have gotten with a canister, even though if it is hidden inside the shoes, that also is possible. But yes, it's a security breach which we ought to be very concerned with, and a new Parliament building.
General Kulkarni, there is a statement that has come by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. I'll be putting out them. This is Sagar Sharma name and the person Pratap
this
Simha.
This is the pass.
This is the pass.
Pratap Simha is the MP from Mysore.
This is the name. This is the public gallery pass. This is the security thing. This is the reader.
Yeah.
This is the reader barcode.
Yes.
This is the name.
Yes.
And this is where the MP is. Let me read out the statement of Om Birla. A thorough investigation of the incident that took place during 0 hour is being done. Essential instructions have been given to Delhi police. In the primary investigation, it has been found that it was just a smoke and there is no need to worry about smoke. Quote unquote Om Birla. Both of them have been nabbed and the materials with them have been seized. The 2 people outside the Parliament have also been arrested by police. So Om Birla says that 4 people have been nabbed. But the question is, for someone to create a prank like that, it's not a joke. One. Secondly, Mr. Rao, before I play out the other bites that has come, your comments on this sort of a breach.
Yes, really this is a very serious breach in the security of Parliament. And especially with the significant day today, it's 22 years what happened, everyone knows about it. And there was an alert also, because on this day, there is always an alert. And the security is on the high alert. And there are 3-4 layer security in Parliament. And no doubt this pass can be used, and it was used by the person who entered into that gallery and in the balcony also. That is to be this is a matter of thorough investigation, how this pass, whether this pass is genuine or it's a fake pass, or the signatures of the honorable MP is genuine or fake, and how this happened. This pass could be given to them, because security might definitely have allowed to enter this person only because of this pass. Then the crux of this investigation will be around this the so-called pass is there, and if the pass is fake, then it's also a matter of great concern that if such fake passes can be available to the terrorists, then they also can enter, and then they can create any havoc inside the Parliament. But thank God that these are not the terrorists and still to be demonstrators. And even then, it's a very serious and scary situation for the parliamentarians. Not only parliamentarians, every citizen of India, they are concerned that how, if the Parliament is also not secure, then what can happen in our country. So now this matter is a great concern, and great investigation will be done. And after investigation, these persons are being interrogated by the officials and sleuth of special cell, and they will definitely bring out truth in all this matter, and as a suitable legal action or whatever departmental action is required, that will be taken against the person concerned who failed to perform their duties at the relevant point and check post in the Parliament at the time of the entry and exit of these persons in there.
Okay, and let me play out a couple of bites, then I'll come back to Aditya, I'll come back to Brijesh. We will be, we'll be taking you through other aspects of this investigation. We had shown you the papers, we had shown you that picture. Can we play that picture again? I think people should get a sense of what happened inside the Parliament, that smoke thing which the MP had tweeted out. I think people should know can we play that Parliament thing? The picture? Can we play that still picture of the smoke? This is the picture. This is the picture. Can we take it full screen? This is the picture which sums up what happened inside the parliament. I'm sure there's complete chaos. You know, if people are trying to say that this is not important, it is very important. It is very important. Let me play out the bites first.
माननीय सदस्यगण, जो घटना शून्यकाल के समय घटित हुई थी, उस घटना की लोकसभा अपने स्तर पर संपूर्ण जांच कर रही है और इस संबंध में दिल्ली पुलिस को भी आवश्यक निर्देश दे दिए गए हैं। लेकिन जो हम सबकी चिंता थी कि वह धुआं क्या था, वह अभी तक प्रारंभिक जांच में जो जांच की उसमें वह साधारण धुआं और सनसनी फैलने वाला धुआं था, इसलिए उस धुएं की कोई ऐसी चिंता का विषय नहीं, उसकी प्रारंभिक ठीक से जांच कर ली गई है। जिन माननीय सदस्यों ने आज नियम 377 के अधीन मामलों को उठाने के एक मिनट सब आप एक मिनट प्लीज, नो, ओके नहीं एक मिनट प्लीज बालूजी प्लीज, अपन सब वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं।
Suddenly two people from the visitors galley jumped into the house. They had canisters in their hand. These canisters were emitting yellow smoke. One was attempting to run towards the speaker's chair. He was overpowered by members, and I do not know, they were shouting some slogans which I couldn't make about. But the fact that there were two people who could come into the visitors galley with canisters which could emit smoke, this smoke could have been toxic, it could have been poisonous, or it could have even been smoke bombs, we do not know. But it emitted an yellow smoke, and this is a serious breach of security, especially on 13th of December, the day in which Parliament was attacked in 2001.
How much would have been the age, sir?
20 and 30, young men wearing jeans.
It was a
जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं, विजिटर्स हो चाहे रिपोर्टर्स हो, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो कि किसी के टैग्स नहीं है रिपोर्टर्स के, सो एवरीबडी इज लाइक एक दूसरे से टकराते हुए जाते हैं। तो आई थिंक सो गवर्नमेंट को ध्यान देना चाहिए। आई थिंक इट्स अ कंप्लीट सिक्योरिटी लैप्स एंड कुछ भी हो सकता था हाउस के अंदर। एंड मोरओवर जहाँ पे हम खड़े हैं यहाँ पे प्रॉपर वॉच भी नहीं है, एमपीसी
कोई एक का नाम जिसका मैंने पास देखा सिक्योरिटी ऑफिशियल्स के साथ, कोई सागर करके है, और वो हमारे जो मैसूर के सांसद है माननीय प्रताप सिम्हा जी, उनके गेस्ट के रूप में हुआ।
तो किस तरह का गैस था?
अब ये क्या बताइए, सिक्योरिटी का काम है।
हालांकि कोई आप लोग को दिक्कत हुआ सांसदों को उस गैस से?
नहीं, कोई ऐसा नहीं, लेकिन भगदड़ मच गई, लेकिन उनको पकड़ लिया गया, दोनों लोग कस्टडी में।
जहाँ मेरी सीट है उसके ऊपर गैलरी की तरफ से पहले एक कूदा, फिर दूसरा कूदा, और जो अंदर चलने की जगह होती है उसके बजाय 20 सीटों को ऊपर कर कूद के आ रहे थे। तो हम 7-8 MP उसकी तरफ भागे, और जब उसको लगा कि घेर लिए तो एक ने उसमें से एक जूता निकाला और जूते में से कोई चीज निकाली, और जैसे ही निकाल के उसने कोई चीज खोली तो धुआं निकलना शुरू हुआ। फिर हम लोगों ने पकड़ के उसकी पिटाई भी की, फिर सिक्योरिटी वाले भी आ गए, फिर उठाकर रख के लेके गए हैं। कुछ तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, इस तरह का कुछ वो बोल रहा था।
लोकसभा के भीतर बहुत बड़ी घटना घटी कि हम लोगों का 0 आवर चल रहा था और मेरा भी नंबर 20वां नंबर था, लेकिन एक करके जैसे एक नीचे गिरा और दूसरा भी कूद के नीचे गिरा, और दौड़ करके सीट से जंप करते हुए अध्यक्ष की तरफ भागता हुआ और कह रहा था कि तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, और जो उसका जूता था उस जूते के नीचे से निकाल करके उसने, और तब धुआं निकालना शुरू किया। उसके बाद हम सभी MP वहां पर इकट्ठा होकर के उसको पकड़ने का काम किया, मारने पीटने का काम, उसके बाद सिक्योरिटी आई। तो ये बहुत बड़ी घटना है, और जिस तरीके से ऐसे लोग लोकसभा की कार्रवाई देखने के लिए आते हैं, आज तो ये नॉर्मल घटना थी, लेकिन इसके बाद बहुत बड़ी घटना हो सकती है। इसको भारत सरकार को गंभीरता से लेने की जरूरत है।
माननीय सांसद जो थे तुरंत उन्होंने भी घेरा, उसको पकड़ा, तब तक उन्होंने जूता के अंदर से कुछ निकाल करके वो गैस जो होता है कलरफुल धुआं छोड़ने लगा। कोई डेंजरस कुछ नहीं था, लेकिन चिंता की विषय ऐसा सामग्री लेके अंदर आ गए, ये चिंता की विषय है। ऐसा ना हो इसलिए सतर्क रहना पड़ेगा, सबको टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा। तो कोई जस्ट न्यूज बनने के लिए कोई दृष्टि आकर्षण करने के लिए वैसे किए थे, देखने से लगा। बाकी दोनों को पकड़ के मार्शल ले गए बाहर। आते तो कोई भी आए थे डॉक्यूमेंट देके, लेकिन ये जो सामग्री कैसे लेके आ गए जूता के अंदर से, ये भी सोचने का विषय है कि आगे इस प्रकार चेकिंग होनी चाहिए। मेटल डिटेक्टर से ऐसा कोई भी चीज हो जो पकड़ा जाए, और नहीं तो फिर चिंता के विषय। जहाँ फोन भी नाले नहीं देते हैं तो इस प्रकार सामान आ गया, ये बड़ी चिंता का विषय है।
देखिए 0 आवर चल रहा था, हम लोग अपनी बात रख रहे थे। अचानक गैलरी के अंदर से 2 आदमी कूद आए। कूदने के बाद उन्होंने अपने जूते में से कोई चीज निकाली, जिससे पूरी पार्लियामेंट के अंदर गैस फैलना शुरू हो गई। हमें शुबा ये है कि क्या ये कोई टॉक्सिक गैस तो नहीं है, कोई नुकसान तो आगे सांसदों को नहीं होगा, खुदा करे ना हो। लेकिन जितना बड़ा सिक्योरिटी लैप्स हुआ है आज, जूते में तो कोई छोटा बम भी ला सकता था।
क्या वो विजिटर्स गैलरी में बैठे?
विजिटर गैलरी में से कूदे थे। तो अगर इस तरह से लैप्स होंगे तो पार्लियामेंट क्या हमारी सेफ है, ये हमें सोचना पड़ेगा।
लोकसभा में संसद चलती शून्य प्रहर का चल रहा था, उसी में अचानक 2 व्यक्ति अपने गैलरी से कूद पड़े। कूदे मतलब पहले वो आगे वाले पिलर को लटकते रहे, लटकने के बाद में कूद पड़े, एक के पीछे दूसरा भी कूदा। कूदने के बाद में दोनों ने बेंच के ऊपर से कूदना स्टार्ट कर दिया। एक बीच में आ गया, फिर तो उसने जूते उतारे। तब तक वो सोच रहा था किधर भागो, तो चारों तरफ से सांसद आ गए, जब पकड़ लिया उसको।
स्पीकर गैलरी में जब हम हाउस देखने के लिए गए थे, तो उसके बाद में साथ में जैसे बैठे हुए थे, तो वो एकदम ही सडनली हमें आवाज आई कुछ नीचे गिरने के लिए। तो जैसे जब नीचे गिरे तो देखा कि कोई बंदा कूद गया। हमने सोचा शायद कोई गिर गया है वैसे, लेकिन वो नीचे गिरा और फिर वो सडनली भागने भी लगा, जैसे स्पीकर
एमपीज की तरफ भागने लगा।
स्पीकर की तरफ।
और जैसे ही उसको पकड़ा तो उसके पीछे एक दूसरा भी आदमी था, वो एकदम से बालकनी से कूदा। और जो पहले जो आगे जा रहा था उसको एमपीज ने पकड़ा, तो उसने अपने शूज में से कोई स्प्रे निकाला और सारे में स्प्रे करने लग गया।
शूज के अंदर से
निकाला उसने।
मतलब छुपा के लाया था
जी। और जो दूसरा भी था वो उसने भी अपने शूज में से निकाला, और तभी इतनी भगदड़ मच गई।
वो कुछ नारा भी लगा रहा था क्या अंदर में?
कुछ नहीं, नारे का तो हमें पता नहीं, क्योंकि इतनी भगदड़ मच गई थी। हम लोग वहाँ से भागे जान बचा के, बट एमपीज ने उसको पकड़ लिया।
एमपीज नहीं पकड़ा?
हाँ जी, एमपी साहब ने पकड़ा उसको ना, काफी मतलब हाँ जी, काफी एमपीज नहीं पकड़ा उसको। वो तो भागता जा रहा था, मतलब उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश करी। फिर एक के साथ में वो ऊपर से, मतलब पहले एक जैसे कूदा, फिर दूसरा भी कूदा, फिर उसको भी पकड़ने के लिए काफी कोशिश करी उन्होंने। ज्यादा दूर तक नहीं जा पाया, उनको एमपीज ने पकड़ लिया वहाँ पे। फिर बाद में सिक्योरिटी वगैरह वाले भी आ गए, तो कुछ स्प्रे कुछ ऐसा हो रहा था, स्पार्कल सा होकर फिर उसमें स्मोक आ रहा था बाहर।
अचानक देखा कि दर्शक दीर्घा से कोई नीचे गिरा। हम लोग बोले कोई गिर गया होगा, तुरंत देखा दूसरा भी एक छलांग लगा दिया। 2 लड़के थे, काले पैंट शर्ट सब पहने थे। फिर वो कूद करके इधर उधर जाने लगे, तो समझ नहीं आया कि उसके बाद लगा कि ये जानबूझकर हुए हैं। तो बाकी माननीय सांसद थे, उनको घेरने लगे, पकड़ने तुरंत दोनों को पकड़ लिया गया। तब तो एक ने जूता निकाला, जूता से कोई ये निकाल करके पीला वाला धुआं छोड़ने लगा, तो दोनों का हाथ से वो निकला, वो भी छुड़ा लिया गया। फिर दोनों को पकड़ करके बाहर ले गए, मार्शल भी आ गए। इतना ही पता चला।
कुछ नारे भी लगा रहे थे क्या?
तानाशाही नहीं चलेगा ऐसा कुछ बोल रहे थे। फिर बाहर आके देखे, उनको तो पकड़ लिए थे। अब ले गए, क्यों आए, लखनऊ से संभवतः आए हैं, क्या है उसके पीछे बाकी पता चलेगा।
कुछ नाम वाम तो नहीं पता चला होगा?
नहीं, उनको पीछे है।
तो क्या अंदर में क्या माहौल था? पूरा लोग पैनिक मच गया होगा?
थोड़ा तो चिंतित थे लोग, कैसे लोग आ गए, ये सब सामान कैसे आया, तो दूसरा कुछ हो सकता था, ये सब चर्चा हो रही थी। भाई का पहले तो थोड़ा घबरा गए लोग कि क्या वो ऊपर से कैसे लोग कूद गए, कौन है ये लोग। तो बाद में चला कि केवल शायद प्रचार करने के लिए लोग अपना जाहिर करने के लिए आए थे। बाकी छानबीन से पता चलेगा पीछे किसका हाथ पकड़ के आए हैं, कैसे आए हैं, क्या है।
सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच इसको मानते हैं आप? 13 दिसंबर भी है।
सिक्योरिटी तो और कड़क होना चाहिए, छानबीन होना चाहिए, चाहे तो मेटल डिटेक्टर यूज करना चाहिए। कोई भी छोटा मोटा चीज़ कोई लेके आ जाएगा तो पकड़ने के लिए व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए। फोन वगैरह रख के आते हैं लोग, लेकिन इस प्रकार कोई सामान लेके आ जाए तो आगे और दूसरा भी कुछ ला सकते हैं, इसलिए सावधान रहना चाहिए।
गंभीर विषय है। इस विषय को मैंने कल भी उठाया था पार्लियामेंट में 0 आवर के समय पे, कि वो गुरपत सिंह मानू जो है, जो खालिस्तानी टेररिस्ट है, अमेरिका में बैठा हुआ है, उसने बाकायदा ये थ्रेट दिया था कि 13 दिसंबर को पार्लियामेंट अटैक करूंगा मैं। आप फिर भी उस पर हाथ रखे बैठे रहे, आपने सीरियसली नहीं लिया। लास्ट सेशन में इतनी महिलाओं की संख्या को लेकर आ रहे थे, कौन साइन कर रहा था? वो लोग नारेबाजी कर रहे थे मोदी जी के लिए। मैंने तभी भी कहा सिक्योरिटी चेक होनी चाहिए, पुख्ता होनी चाहिए। टेम्पल ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, इन द मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी पे इस तरीके का हमला होता है, ये दिखाता है सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच है और उस पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और थोड़ी, मैं मानती हूँ, सख्ती बरतनी चाहिए। जिस तरीके से भारी संख्या में विजिटर्स आते हैं, कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, कोई नियंत्रण नहीं है।
नहीं, कहीं चूक तो हुई है ही। और जब वो एक व्यक्ति नीचे कूदा होगा, लेकिन हमको लगा कि गिर गया है। जब दूसरा व्यक्ति भी उतर रहा था, रेलिंग पकड़ करके कूदने की कोशिश कर रहा था, तब सबके ध्यान में आया। तो इतने इस बीच में सब लोग सतर्क हो गए थे। नहीं, मैं चेयर पर था, दूर था मैं थोड़ा सा। मैंने देखा एक कोई, नहीं, मैंने बताया ना कि वो कूदा, उसने फिर वो जूता खोलने की कोशिश की, उसमें से कुछ निकाला, एक ने वो पिट करके वो धुआं निकल रहा था उसमें से। इन द मीन टाइम जो हमारे सुरक्षा कर्मी हैं, उन्होंने तत्परता के साथ दोनों को काबू में कर लिया और अब जांच होगी, पता चलेगा क्या फैक्ट्स हैं।
माननीय सदस्यगण, जो घटना शून्यकाल के समय घटित हुई थी, उस घटना की लोकसभा अपने स्तर पर संपूर्ण जांच कर रही है और इस संबंध में दिल्ली पुलिस को भी आवश्यक निर्देश दे दिए गए हैं। लेकिन जो हम सबकी चिंता थी कि वह धुआं क्या था, वह अभी तक प्रारंभिक जांच में जो जांच की उसमें वह साधारण धुआं और सनसनी फैलने वाला धुआं था। इसलिए उस धुएं की कोई ऐसी चिंता का विषय नहीं, उसकी प्रारंभिक ठीक से जांच कर ली गई है। जिन माननीय सदस्यों ने आज नियम 377 के अधीन मामलों को उठाने के एक मिनट सब आप एक मिनट प्लीज, नो, ओके, नहीं, एक मिनट प्लीज बालूजी, प्लीज। अपन सब वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं।
देखिए, इस वक्त जो चीज आप मेरे हाथ में देख रहे हैं, ठीक यही वो स्मोक बम है जिसका इस्तेमाल न केवल संसद परिसर में बल्कि सदन के भीतर किया गया था। सदन के भीतर जिस स्मोक बम का इस्तेमाल किया गया था, ठीक वही सदन के भीतर जिसका इस्तेमाल किया गया था, ठीक उसी स्मोक बम को इस वक्त आप टीवी 9 के कैमरे पर देख रहे हैं। ये वो स्मोक बम है जिसका इस्तेमाल, आप सोचिए, इतना बड़ा स्मोक बम अगर आप कहीं से जूते में लेकर जाएं, पेंट में लेकर जाएं, कैसे लेकर जा सकते हैं? क्योंकि आपको पार्लियामेंट की सिक्योरिटी वाले चेक करते हैं। इसके बाद भी अगर आप सदन के भीतर लेकर चले जाते हैं, इसके बाद भी अगर आप सदन के भीतर इसको इस्तेमाल कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि इसको इस्तेमाल करने के लिए भी आपको माचिस चाहिए, अगर उसके बाद भी आप इस्तेमाल कर पाते हैं तो कितनी बड़ी सुरक्षा में चूक है, सुरक्षा में सेंध लगाई गई है, ये आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं। और इसीलिए ये सबसे बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है, क्योंकि बतौर पत्रकार जब हम जाते हैं प्रेस गैलरी में,
कि जहाँ पे हम लोगों की सीट है उसके कोने पे पीछे ऊपर दर्शक दीर्घा है, वहाँ से एक आवाज आती है धुड़ुम जैसी। हमने लौट करके देखा और हमें लगा कि शायद ऊपर से कोई गिरा है। तो जैसे ही देख ही रहे थे क्या गिरा क्या हुआ, एक ऊपर से दूसरा आदमी कूदा। जैसे ही वो कूदा तो एकदम इंटेंशन साफ दिखी कुछ गड़बड़ है। तो वो जहाँ से निकलते हैं या जिधर दौड़ सकते थे वहाँ कर नहीं गए, सीटों के बीच में जंप करता हुआ जंप जैसे ही तीसरी पे जंप कर रहा था तो तुरंत हम 6-7 MP लोग भागे, क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी की जो लड़की जो मेंशनिंग करती है, ले जा करके डॉक्यूमेंट देती है, वो थी, तो उस पर गिरा या क्या, वो तो बेहोश सी हो गई, रो रही थी। जब हम बाद में देखा, जैसे उसकी तरफ भागे तो उन्हें एकदम जूता निकाला तो हल्का सा झिझक हुई, पर एकदम फिर टूटे। उसमें से मैं भी था और कई 6-7 MP और भी थे। जैसे ही उसे पकड़ा और पकड़ के उसकी पिटाई कर रहे थे, ये नील भी पड़ा हाथ में, तो उस समय गैस और एक धुआं सा होने लगा और पूरी पार्लियामेंट में एक स्मेल और एक बदबू सी होने लगी। और उनको फिर सिक्योरिटी वाले आए और ले गए, और सिक्योरिटी वालों ने पिटाई तो बहुत ही करी, अधमरे कर दिया।
खौफ का मंजर था जब ये हुआ, उस समय क्या आप लोग के मन में आ रहा था?
आप लोग तो पूछ सकते हो कि खौफ का मंजर था क्या नहीं था, अब हम जवाब भी दे सकते हैं। उस समय तो केवल ये था हमें मारने आया है और पकड़ के या तो इसे मारो या इस पर कोई हथियार चला ना पाए तो इसके हाथ पैर पकड़ लो इसको।
अब पूरी तरह से कब्जे में आप लोगों ने कर लिया था?
पूरी तरीके से पकड़ लिया था और उठा लिया था ऊपर, किसी ने हाथ किसी ने पैर पकड़ के चारों तरफ से पिटाई भी उसकी सभी कर रहे थे।
सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच मानते हैं कि बड़ा सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच है
ये मैं मानता क्या हूँ, तो रिजल्ट अपने आप में सर्टिफिकेट है कि सिक्योरिटी की तो कहीं ना कहीं चूक तो है ही है।
आज 13 दिसंबर है, कोई बड़ा घटना
ये देखिए, ये 13 दिसंबर से डायरेक्ट ये चीज़ जुड़ी हुई है। 13 दिसंबर का दिन है, आज ही वो घटना घटी है, आज ही वो कूदे हैं, और कूद के वो जिस तरह भागे हैं, और भागने के बाद जिस तरीके से उन्होंने गैस कुछ भरा वो चीज़ साथ ले रखी थी वो खोली है, तो ये तो बिल्कुल प्री प्लान था, जो ऐसा देखने से प्रथम दृष्टि में जो प्राइमा फेसी में जो लगता है।
माननीय सांसद जो थे तुरंत उन्होंने भी घेरा, उसको पकड़ा, तब तक उन्होंने जूता के अंदर से कुछ निकाल करके वो गैस जो होता है कलरफुल धुआं छोड़ने लगा। कोई डेंजरस कुछ नहीं था, लेकिन चिंता के विषय ऐसा सामग्री लेके अंदर आ गए, ये चिंता की विषय है। ऐसा ना हो इसलिए सतर्क रहना पड़ेगा, सबको टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा। तो कोई जस्ट न्यूज बनने के लिए, कोई दृष्टि आकर्षण करने के लिए उसे किए थे, देखने से लगा। बाकी दोनों को पकड़ के मार्शल ले गए बाहर।
Yeah, some people jumped out from the gallery and some kind of gas they're spreading inside.
In Lok Sabha?
Inside Lok Sabha.
क्या हुआ
Gas jumped out.
गैस छिट रहा है।
Some gas. कितने लोग jump करके आ रहे हैं?
बहुत सारे लोग हैं।
बहुत सारे लोग। Of course I have seen.
How many people were there,
Jumped
ma'am?
out from the gallery.
How many persons?
And they are trying to run and beat it. Some kind of gas is being thrown on the inside the house.
किस तरह की कर रहे थे मैम?
वही लो।
कुछ नारा वगैरह भी लगा रहे थे?
हम लोग को भागने से जल्दी।
Now, let me straight away go to Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, can someone hide a canister like that in frisking? You know, this is a technical question I'm asking you because a person was able to get the canister inside. And twice over? Mr. Rao?
Yes. No, normally no person can conceal such type of big like smoke gun, and normally it cannot be. But it depends upon what container it was there inside. If it cannot be, I don't think that it can be stored in the shoes. It may be stored in a sock and with the parallel of leg. It can be, but because the security officials are trained for that purpose, that the security and frisking should be done thoroughly of the body. All parts of the body should be frisked and searched before allowing any entry to any person, maybe with the pass or even with the pass also. So this type of things, that concealing such type of things, and it's really a serious matter, and it will be inquired into, and more particularly it might be possible that it can be concealed in the pocket of a coat or jacket or something like that. That all depends upon the inquiry and the investigation and the interrogation of these persons, how they could do it and how they could dose the security officials who were searching and frisking for that. That depends all upon the interrogation and the manner they could succeed in getting into it. Yes.
Mr. Rao, Brijesh Pandey this side. If you look at the visuals, this guy who jumped from the visitor gallery, then he jumped to, a table ahead, and then he took out his shoe, and from there he took out that smoke bomb or smoke thing. But the point is, Mr. Rao, that you have been a senior police officer yourself and was a part of the special cell. Isn't this a big security breach in the sense that someone was able to carry that canister hidden inside his shoe right from the entry of the parliament to the visitors gallery, which is the last one? Post that there is no check. So it could have been very serious.
Yes. Reaching to the Dirga gallery, that is the gallery of the visitors and the press wala, that it's a long process from the inside the main entrance to the inside that. It's a long way, and carrying such a thing, and it might have been checked in 2-3 places, not only at one places. That's why. And how he could manage to get all these things, escape from the security, from the eyes of the security officials, that depends upon his caliber of doing all these things.
Mr. Rao, you would remember in the old parliament, first you are frisked at the gate where the press enters. Then you are frisked at the gate where you enter the premise of the parliament. Then you are frisked when you enter the gallery, Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. You are frisked thrice.
Yes.
And if he is able to carry past all those 3 gates, is unimaginable.
Yes, please. Yes, continue.
Yes, that is very important, because only at one place, the person can be slack and searching and frisking. At 3 places, all the 3 places, if the persons are not able to detect such a object, which is definitely it's not a this normal object. It could have been detected at any searching and frisking point. And you already said that it is being done at 3 places, and no doubt it's there. The security at the parliament on particular significant day of 13th December. That is more important, and that I'm again emphasizing on that. Today, that security should have been very at high alert. Especially Pannu has sent a threat about it. No doubt, it's a matter that these are the persons who are demonstrators. But if the terrorist could also have, that's also one of the MP was saying that that small pistol can be taken away in that shoes. If this thing can be concealed, then any weapon also can be concealed. That it all depends upon the DDF, the metal door detectors and the handheld HDM. These were they functioning properly or not? All these things can be rechecked, and that's really a serious concern, and the matter of rethinking on the security and revamping of the security of parliament, because it's not only giving a bad name to our country, but it's all these pictures are being I think played in all over India, all over country, all over world. Then it brings a bad name to our country, and the person who was jumping from one desk to another desk, that is also creating a scene of insecurity among the honorable MPs. I give credit to those MPs who could manage to catch this person, and all the 2 persons who were inside the parliament, they could be caught by the honorable members of the parliament, and that depends, because under such circumstances people are so scared, and I don't think that everybody has a courage to kidnap, because nobody know what other things they are carrying. They may be carrying any weapon as well. So I give credit to those honorable MPs, and that there's serious concern about the security breach, and that should be relooked into that, so that no such thing can happen, and that detailed inquiry will follow, and then the result will come out after that.
Mr. Rao, my question stems from the fact that India has been facing cross-border terrorism for a very long time. We have seen Lashkar-e-Taiba attacking the sanctum sanctorum of the democracy, parliament in 2001, in which several people lost their lives. And there has been a lot of attempt on how to improve the security. More than the concern of the world, what is shocking for me is the fact that till in this day and age, when there are at minimum 3-layer security check is for those who are bona fide journalists. Who have their PIB cards, there's a security check of the PIB card, the local intelligence unit or the LIU checks their PIB card, and then they get that pass, they are frisked thrice. And this person who gets a visitor's pass is able to conceal that is mind-boggling. Mr. Rao?
Yes, definitely, brother. On the day of that 13th December 2001, I was in service, and I was there at the parliament when this attack was there, along with the commissioner that Mr. Azhar. We all were there, and we could see that what happened on that day. And definitely this is mind-boggling, and in spite of that incident, and the 3-layer securities are definitely there, and the security people and the press people are allowed after even 3-layer searching and frisking. Still somebody can have a courage to enter into that place, and then he jumps into that MP's gallery. That is something very mind-boggling and very serious about it, and that should not have been happened, because it's giving a bad name to us. And now only the interrogation of these persons will come out. What are their actual intentions?
Okay.
Why did they do so?
Okay.
Yeah. What was the real motive of this incident?
I just need to introduce another guest, senior former IPS officer, someone associated with SPG has joined us. Mr. Mishra, am I audible to you? Mr. PK Mishra, am I audible to you? Okay. I don't think Mr. Mishra is audible. This sort of a breach that has taken place inside Parliament, I think will not go down very well with the security establishment, political establishment, because you see, one thing, I'm just, this is like, we are having this conversation. This government takes security issues very seriously. And for them to something to have happened under the watch like this, I don't think it's going to go down well.
It does not go down well with the establishment, any establishment, Kartikeya, because this makes the government look stupid. Yes. For the simple reason is, and sorry for the usage of the word, but the simple reason is that, when you talk of the parliament, when you talk of parliament, you were telling our viewers about, the 3-layer security and all, and imagine this 3-layer security is for the bona fide journalists. Your PIB is cross-checked by the LIU unit of the state where you live in. It is cross-checked by everything, and post that, you are given that task. All of us are frisked several times. Even you remember when we are walking along with the minister who's talking to you, yet you are stopped and checked.
Let us get PK Mishra here. Sir, what are the layers at which this breach took place? What's your assessment? Intelligence, frisking, what are those layers at which the breach has taken place?
Yeah, I can well tell you, you are speaking to a gentleman who was the Director of Security Parliament 22 years ago, in 2001 when it happened. I could visualize when it happened in 2001 when I lost 2 of my security personnel, and they were successful in closing all the building gates so that the militants, the Jais Mohammed militants could not enter to Parliament House inside the wall. So all the lives were saved, lives of MPs were saved. But here, I can tell that in the new Parliament House, what has happened today, main thing is we have to find out who recommended, how they have entered. They have gone through, I tell the channel in which they go. They have to enter through reception. So a security check has to be done in reception, and where they have to show their pass, their identity card, their Aadhaar card, telephone number, and address, full-fledged address in Delhi or wherever it may be. Then they come to building gate of the Parliament. And in the building gate, again they have to be frisked, and full frisking is being done. And after that, they go to the gallery, entrance of the gallery. In the entrance of the gallery, they are again checked, and they have been allowed to go to gallery. And inside the gallery also, there is security department deployment. I can well tell you, I know what it happened in 2001. It all happened. They entered through iron gate number 1, and they could not penetrate to building gate. Here, they have penetrated to the gallery, to the public gallery, and they have jumped. And not only that, you see, inside the well where the Parliament is going on, there is only the Marshal who is standing alone, and behind the Marshal, the Deputy Marshal is there. Otherwise, no security personnel of Lok Sabha, they are available inside the well. So the men, those who jumped, they could have done anything. They have carried one, the smoke candle. The smoke candle which was lit, it gave yellowish smoke, but it could have been poisonous smoke. And in the shoe also, they could have carried pistol. They could have carried a chaku, a knife, and they could have carried improvised explosive devices. And when they jumped inside the well, they were encircled by honorable MPs. And the person, he brought out the smoke candle, and he has shown, he blasted it, and he has shown to 2 honorable MPs. This smoke, it could have caused maximum death had it been poisonous smoke to a lot of MPs in the Parliament, which has been avoided because it was not poisonous gas which was there. It was only yellow smoke, which was also lit outside by another girl and another boy. There were 4 persons apprehended in this case. I can well tell you, even if he has taken inside his shoe, it's easy in airport also. It happens. Mostly people, they carry everything inside the zoo, and all over the world it happens. The zoo could have been checked, and because the baggage scanner is there, the dog squad is there, the people. Main thing is the individual checking could have been done, which was not done properly. It is a big and biggest security lapse. I can well tell you, we saved the life of various honorable MPs today because it was not poisonous smoke, because it was not improvised device, explosive device. It's a big security lapse of the parliament security staff, the Lok Sabha security staff. Even though I was there, I blame them for this, and this was not supposed to be done. And that also today, the 22nd anniversary of what has happened in 2001, I remember. So, of course, they are now being interrogated in Parliament Street Police Station along with IB and Parliament Security and Delhi Police and all. They are interrogating. It is not those 4 persons who are involved. There must be a big group which is behind them and they are operating. And the aim is definitely something. It may be political. It may be political because using recommendation from honorable MPs and coming inside, definitely it is political. And that is how a lot of lives of honorable MPs could be saved. Here, I don't agree with the statement of someone he was giving that it is a yellow smoke and nothing to worry, nothing will happen. No, it could have been poisonous gas. Everyone has to be worried for that, and this is not to be done. And it's a biggest security lapse in another biggest security lapse in the history of Parliament.
Can I get in? So you would have noticed. Yes. So you would have noticed the difference between old Lok Sabha and new Lok Sabha is that in old Lok Sabha, if you recall, sir, in Rajya Sabha, journalists would sit in front of the chairperson, but in Lok Sabha, the journalists would be sitting on the top of the Lok Sabha speaker. So हम लोग वहाँ भी खड़े हो जाते थे और ऐसे करके देखते थे जहाँ प्राइम मिनिस्टर होते थे. On the left hand side there used to be leader of opposition. So but then it was on the higher side. Anyone would have tried jumping would have broken his bone. But I think in the new parliament, it's different. That's number one. And secondly, he was able to jump, drop and get a grip on the situation. And you very rightly pointed out, when you are inside, there is no security inside. The only people who are allowed to sit in those galleries are the SPG. They are the only one. Yeah. And the Prime Minister was not there. Or else the SPG would have jumped into this whole fray. So I was just thinking, sir, that imagine if Prime Minister would have been there, what would have happened inside the house?
Yes, see, I was in Prime. I was the first batch of Prime Minister Security.
No other thing. Yes, I know you didn't come to that point, but I have also covered Parliament for 20 years. They are allowed to carry weapons inside, and they sit in those corners. They would have jumped inside.
I am telling you, I was a part of SPG. I was first batch of SPG when SPG was created, when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister. I was in SPG also for 6 years. I can well tell you. At SPG, when I was Director of Security Parliament, I just came from SPG to Parliament. So, in SPG, the training, if this man could have jumped and PM was sitting inside the channel, there was no other option for SPG personnel to jump from the gallery and to kill this person. Definitely, that is what is the training which has been given. We cannot think X, Y, or Z or A, B, and C. The man should have been killed if the Honorable Prime Minister is sitting in the well and SPG is there with the weapons and a person is jumping. You don't know what he can do. So there is no other alternative for SPG than to shoot this person. Definitely. I agree. I tell you, this is the reply. If SPG could have sat and Prime Minister would have been there in the well, it is nice that the Prime Minister was not there. And it is nice that the smoke was not poisonous. It is just that God saved the situation today. And it was a wonderful question which you have asked. And you were asking somebody who was there in SPG. Yeah, tell me.
That's very nicely put, sir. But one more thing, sir. Yeah. When the multiple frisking takes place, like in SPG, everything is done by SPG. But here, different agencies are installed at different parts of the gate. You know, you have CRPF, then you have Parliament security, then you have another layer of security. What I really want to know is that isn't this a failure of intelligence as well? Because everything cannot be pinned on people who frisk. I mean, so the people are also vetted, isn't that, Mr. Mishra?
Yeah, you are asking correct question. Here what happens, the security of the parliament, the perimeter security outside of the wall, that is looked after by the police. From boundary wall up to building gate, the security is looked after by SDG, not CRPF. It is a battalion called Special Duty Group Battalion of CRPF, exclusively for Parliament security. That was created when I was there, the Director of Security of Parliament, and they look after the security in between the boundary wall, inside up to the building gate. From the building gate inside, that is by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha security. Where Rajya Sabha is there, Rajya Sabha security they look after. Where Lok Sabha is there, Lok Sabha security they look after. Weapons are not carried by any security department inside the well or inside the building gates. Exclusively SPG, Special Protection Group. When the Prime Minister goes, the SPG is supposed to carry the weapons. No one else. The Parliament security staffs, they are not authorized to carry any weapon. No one is authorized that way to carry any weapon inside the building gate. The frisking is being done at building gate by Parliament security staffs and also by the SDG. These two persons and these two departments, they look after the security, and at the building gate, the proper security check is being done, and baggage scanner is also available. 3D baggage scanner is also available. So a lot of security steps you have to undergo while going to the gallery, public gallery. And I have seen because I have seen the old Parliament House, because I was there in the old Parliament House. Yes, it's very difficult to jump, because once you jump, it's to stabilize yourself, it takes time. Here it is very close. He stabilized. The person who jumped, I could see, he stabilized himself and he's jumping from place to place. He's jumping and he's surrounded by honorable MPs who could catch, because it's very clear that only one marshal is there inside. Nobody else is there. It's only when some halla gulla will be there that the other security personnel will come in through building gates. But at the same juncture, it's only one Lok Sabha, the marshal, who is available, and no other security personnel inside. They will come only afterward. But by that time, that man could have done a lot of things. He would have been having a pistol or improvised explosive device. He could have blasted it inside Parliament. And if that smoke would have been poisonous.
Mr. Mishra, I would just like you to hold your thought. I will show you also one more thing. Our reporter was there outside and he got hold of the canister. I know there would be a lot of commotion, other reporters wanted it, but it just tells you how everyone was taken by surprise. Every reporter was taken by surprise. Every security personnel was taken by surprise. Don't go away, Mr. Mishra. There are a lot of questions which even Rajesh needs to ask. Let us play that bite of our reporter, TV9 Bharatvarsh reporter, Sister Concern, who was there and who showed the size of that canister.
देखिए, इस वक्त जो चीज आप मेरे हाथ में देख रहे हैं, ठीक यही वो स्मोक बम है जिसका इस्तेमाल न केवल संसद परिसर में बल्कि सदन के भीतर किया गया था। सदन के भीतर जिस स्मोक बम का इस्तेमाल किया गया था, ठीक वही सदन के भीतर जिसका इस्तेमाल किया गया था, ठीक उसी स्मोक बम को इस वक्त आप TV9 के कैमरे पर देख रहे हैं। ये वो स्मोक बम है जिसका इस्तेमाल, आप सोचिए, इतना बड़ा स्मोक बम अगर आप कहीं से जूते में लेकर जाएं, पेंट में लेकर जाएं, कैसे लेकर जा सकते हैं? क्योंकि आपको पार्लियामेंट की सिक्योरिटी वाले चेक करते हैं। इसके बाद भी अगर आप सदन के भीतर लेकर चले जाते हैं, इसके बाद भी अगर आप सदन के भीतर इसको इस्तेमाल कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि इसको इस्तेमाल करने के लिए भी आपको माचिस चाहिए, अगर उसके बाद भी आप इस्तेमाल कर पाते हैं तो कितनी बड़ी सुरक्षा में चूक है, सुरक्षा में सेंध लगाई गई है, ये आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं। और ये सबसे बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है, क्योंकि बतौर पत्रकार जब हम जाते हैं प्रेस गैलरी में,
just to give you a sense of size, you know, this is the size you know, which that
makes it very difficult for you to
he was
hide.
able to take inside, and just you know, begets the question, what was the frisking that was happening? I mean to say, there has to be some sort of a accountability
for this.
Mr. Mishra.
I am straight telling you the answer. Yes, it all depends upon which type of shoe he was wearing and whether the shoe can carry such a cylinder or otherwise. This cylinder would have been tied to his, to his leg somewhere, and he was successful in carrying it inside. Either he has taken inside the shoe if the shoe is bigger and within the sole and the upper portion such a big chamber is available, or otherwise it's only the shoe will tell who is that gentleman is there in the parliament house police station. Number two, otherwise he would have tied it up with his leg and has carried it. Whatever way he has carried it, this could have been checked. And this could happen, he should have been frisked properly at all those 3 points of entry, which is there in the new Parliament House. Of course, I should not compare it with the old Parliament House. With the new Parliament House, the system, whatever is there, the security, the checking, the frisking should have been proper. If he has carried this one inside the well, it is one of the biggest blunder, biggest security lapse in the history of Parliament security. The blame goes to all the security staffs, those who were there from reception and in the building gate and in the gallery gate also, and also those who are deployed in the gallery. There are few persons there deployed in the gallery. They could have also jumped from the gallery to catch hold of him. There was no reaction. I have seen it in this. There was no reaction. They could have also jumped to catch hold of him. So it is a reactionless. Number two, absolutely big blunder of Parliament security staff not to have frisked it properly. The blame goes to them. They cannot go away with that. They cannot go away. It involves the lives of a lot of honorable MPs. See if the honorable Prime Minister would have. Why Prime Minister? Our ministers and honorable MPs are sitting, and this is the lives of so many leaders of the country who are there in this Parliament House. And that also today is the 22nd year of happening of this incident which happened in 2001. I can visualize myself. This is too much. I cannot accept this type of frisking which was not done properly.
Mr.
Yes.
Mishra, Brijesh Pandey this side, I must compliment you for describing the situation in such a great detail. You know, if I was just listening to you, I could have imagined the kind of security apparatus that was put to place. That was very, very detailed and minutely explained. Sir, you know what makes the crime worse is the fact that today is 13th of December 2001, 22 years before a terror attack took place. And also the fact, sir, that we saw people outside India threatening that they will take revenge on this day and they will make an attempt in the parliament. I'm not trying to correlate any of such thing.
That's okay.
But the fact that this important day, this big a security lapse, don't you think it makes it, I mean, it makes the crime doubly more gruesome?
Listen, it was, I still remember 2001 incident. And today for that 22nd anniversary, the Honorable Prime Minister and most of the ministers and the cabinet and including a leader of opposition, they all were there in the parliament to pay homage to those Shaheeds, the martyrs who laid down their lives on this particular day, blocking this joyous Muhammad militants. And I lost also two of my Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha security employees. And this was the day it happened. And today, the Honorable Prime Minister was also there in Parliament House, and the security should have been beefed up properly by Parliament security. And it was not expected from them at all on this day. This is a biggest security lapse, I can tell you. It's not whether Honorable Prime Minister was sitting inside the well or he's not there. Yet, the lives of so many honorable MPs and ministers, including the honorable speaker. The speaker was on the chair, whoever may be the speaker, he was on the chair, and so many MPs were also there. And the person jumped. And the worst part of it, there was, you know it pretty well that excluding Marshal near the honorable speaker, no other security personnel are there. And there were no weapons also. Weapons are not allowed inside the well because the Prime Minister is not there, so the SPG will not be there. Otherwise, there is no weapon. Just see if the ID, it would have been one improvised explosive device which could have come inside the well through this person, or a small pistol could have come and he could have shot few MPs and he could have blasted that ID inside the well. I don't know what would have happened today. God saved us.
News. Sorry, sir. I'm very good points. One news my colleague Brajesh needs to break.
Speaker Om Birla has now just issued orders where he has prohibited that till the next order comes, there should be no issuing of visitors pass in the parliament. So I think, you know, this has taken a toll.
I told you. I told you.
Yeah. So no visitors pass will be issued till the new order comes from the speaker, and you know, as very wisely put out there, I mean, look at the past, look at this thing, you know, Mr. Rao was referring to it, Kartikeya. The fact is that he's saying that you don't know whether it is a fake pass or not. If it is a fake pass, then it increases the intensity of the crime in several folds.
See, you have to understand that in this parliament there is less mobility. You know, you can't go around this parliament. Yeah. In the earlier parliament, it was possible for you to enter from gate number 4, gate number 1, gate number 12, go upstairs and walk all through the parliament. This parliament does not give you that excess mobility. It restricts you to certain corners because that's the security feature. All mobility parliament means that someone gets inside, can hide anywhere. This parliament will not allow that. But the fact is that someone was able to use the utilities and breach the security. I would say it's also a failure of intelligence. You see, when we track potential threat, this is where the intelligence comes. You know, even if it is of an activist.
No, but Kartikeya, there's one thing I must agree with Mr. Mishra is that, you know, I can, very correctly you're saying that it's an int failure, but more than int failure, Kartikeya, it's a massive human failure, which is that, you know, that is not a small lighter which you just, you know, we can pocket it, and I can imagine that, like, you know, in one corner of the body, you just, like, you know, put it there and were able to smuggle it out. It was a big cylindrical object.
Mr. Mishra,
and nobody was able to detect it. Is like, is mind
Mr. Mishra, you wanted to come in? Mr. Mishra,
yeah,
you wanted to come in?
you are absolutely correct that it is a big failure of intelligence. I'll tell you why. Because till now only 4 persons have been apprehended, 2 inside the well and 2 were outside, and the same cylinder, the smoke cylinder that they did bust, 1 inside the well, 1 outside of the building gate. It's not only 4. Like in 2001, they were not only those 7 who entered through the car. The whole of Jaish Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba mixed, they were involved. The whole of ISI and Pakistan, they were involved. So here, let us not take it lightly that it is only those 4 persons who are involved. It is a big group. They have planned it much earlier. People might have come earlier, and they could have given full information and intelligence and briefing to these 4 persons to enter, how to enter, and what is to be done. So there are some groups, there are some persons outside, and since long it has been planned. I agree with you. I repeat, I agree with you that it is also a big intelligence failure. And a big intelligence failure not to have come to know that such incident can take place in the Parliament House. It cannot be planned today. It cannot be planned. It could not have been planned yesterday. No, I don't agree here. This is totally planned by a group of persons, a particular group with some understanding.
Okay, Mr. Mishra, is there a possibility? Now, I'm not being presumptuous. Is there a possibility of an inside help?
Yeah, it cannot be ruled out, because you see, carrying such a big scanner inside, definitely because they have entered carrying this, whether inside the shoe or they have taken it in their body. The persons, those who are fixing might have been involved. You cannot, anything is possible. So what Honorable Speaker was telling, that the inquiry will go ahead, and those all who are involved in frisking at various building gates and all, they will be definitely questioned, and will come to know what exactly happened and how
Mr.
they
what
could
is most,
penetrate the
Mr. Mishra, what's the basic issue? I was there, and I have to say that, I covered Parliament attack.
Yeah.
I was there through the day. I was in a magazine. I was a young reporter, and I saw the army coming in. I saw the army leaving. I saw the people who were stuck inside. People who were lying on the ground. We laid on the ground for like 1 or 2 hours straight away. There weren't many rolling cameras. There were 3 or 4, 5 basic 24/7 channels. Rest of it was print reporting. People don't understand that the Parliament attack was finished in 7 to 10 minutes. People don't understand that. It didn't last for hours. First 15 minutes it was over. Then the entire Parliament was clamped because people did not know how many terrorists had come inside. And they were frisking the area again, and then there was a whole theory with the missing terrorists. But the whole issue was that the people realized that they were able to forge their way inside one. They could carry the guns inside second. Since they did not know the layout of the Parliament, they rammed their car at the portion where the gate of the Vice President was, where the Vice President's cavalcade would be parked. Now, issue here is that these people came in casually. One, they could hide their intention, so there was no technical or human. Secondly, they precisely knew that they would survive the jump. You see, if I go inside the Parliament, a person like me jumps, which is slightly overweight, I'll break both my knees. It's as simple as that. They knew, and you would understand, you have been part of the security architecture, that these things are not taken lightly. So someone to jump over the ledge would mean that he would survive. Then he would and he was running. Where was he running? Where did he want to go? That's number one. If he would have actually hit any Parliament, imagine if he would have hit any Parliament or attempted to do something serious with a Parliament, the world would have been different in Delhi today. Then secondly, you had people protesting outside, which means coordination. So I mean to say, there are levels of failure which are multiple. The inquiry can take place, we can all heave, and we can say thank you God that no casualty took place. But the fact that they were able to exploit the rule of the day. General Sivach also joined me. General Sivach, they were able to exploit the rule of the day. They were able to jump from that gallery. And as Mr. Mishra rightly pointed out, when they jump, people don't know. You don't have security guards inside the well of the house. They are not supposed to enter. The only people who can enter with guns are not in the well. They stay at the right side where the officers sit, which is SPG. And they have the right to fire anywhere as per the Blue Book to protect the Prime Minister of the country. And I don't think Prime Minister was in the hall at that point of time.
No, Prime Minister is not.
He was not in the hall. General Sivach.
Absolutely.
Prime Minister has gone to attend the swearing.
Karthik, 2-3 points there. See, first of all, there is a multi-tier security which is there as far as Sansad Bhavan is concerned. Obviously, if they manage to come in the well of the house, there have been a failure. Now, you have to analyze and investigate where all the failure has taken place. First of all, the failure has taken place as to after when they have been completely frisked in the multi-tier, how come they were able to take basically a container which had this chemical fusion with it. Second thing is, once they are sitting in a gallery, how they could jump with impunity, and then they can also go from one place to another within the Parliament House. So therefore, this is the second. The third is that what their credentials were checked thoroughly before the permission was granted them to be part of visitor gallery, because they have been a guest of some of the member of Parliament. Has then been a proper thorough investigation carried out before that? I suppose this is a good eye opener as far as we are concerned. By this action which has taken place now, this incident which has taken place, it has thrown open many questions to the security apparatus. Are we absolutely okay after what has happened to us on 13th December 2001? I suppose no. We need to recheck it and refine our strategy as to how did they actually manage to come. Their intention may not be what it is. It looks okay that they were nabbed and they were thrown the canister which had
Siraj, the fact
identification
of the, General
smoke.
Siraj, the fact of the matter is, that's what I said, in a way, it's like 9/11, someone, weaponizes the thing, it's not as if, they had jumped inside the guns. Imagine they would have done, sir, you are an army man. People can weaponize a pencil, sir. People can weaponize their fingers in army, people are taught to use their hands to kill. People can weaponize anything. People can weaponize this spect if they are in special forces. I am also joined by G.C. Malhotra, former Secretary General Lok Sabha, a constitutional expert. So, but today, it's not about the constitution. It's about the sanctum sanctorum of where the constitution is at play. Your comments.
Thank you. You see, I recall that in 2001, when this terrorist attack happened, I happened to be the Secretary General at that time. That day, the House had been adjourned for for some disturbance in the chamber, and it had been adjourned for an hour. The Honorable Speaker was then Mr. Bal Yogi. Mr. Bal Yogi and me both were thinking of going to the other building to do some office work, when we heard the noise of some bullets and saw the security men running towards the speaker's gate. We ran up inside the gate, and after taking the orders of the Honorable Speaker, I had the gates of all the Parliament House closed. Hello, are you able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So then, in the Honorable Speaker's chamber, the then Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Pramod Mahajan, and the then Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Advani, took charge in that and monitored the killing of all the terrorists. And the operation went for quite some time, because there was some news that some terrorists had sneaked in and had not been killed. Now, knowing that it was the 22nd anniversary of that unfortunate date, and knowing that there was already a threat in US by a terrorist, Khalistan terrorist Pannu, that he'll do some damage, try to do some damage on this anniversary, 22nd anniversary, the security should have been beefed up very, very strictly and should have been monitored. There is certainly a serious lapse at several levels. There are multi-layer security
Mr. Saxena,
levels
Mr. Saxena, for the benefit of the viewer, can you just explain it in the simple term in context of security lapses kahan hue? Can you do it, Mr. Malhotra?
You see, as I told you, there are multi-layers of security. Number one, the visitor gallery card is issued only on the recommendation of a member of parliament. One, that the member of parliament normally is not that serious, because the visitors in his constituency do come and get a pass issued. But in addition to the recommendation of a member of parliament, the ID of the visitor is already checked, and the record, intelligence record is also checked about that person. Then there is a at the gate level, reception level, and there is a multi-layer security frisking at several places. Now a canister is allowed to be brought is a serious lapse. I do not know whether they were carrying this canister with themselves or it was handed over to them somewhere in the visitor gallery. This will have to be checked in the inquiry. So lapse has been there at one of the several places or at more than one level of the different places. But the fact remains that when they were in the gallery, the security men, after every 2, 3, 4 persons, a security man is there, seated in the visitors gallery. The moment he should have noticed that somebody is trying to jump, he could have caught hold of him. But then not one, but 2 security and the visitors jumped. And then there were 2 visitors outside who were helping them. 4 have been nabbed. I am doubtful that it is not only these 4, but some other agency, terrorist agency must have been helping them in the manner in which the terrorists were helped in 2001. Therefore, a high-level security lapse has been there. A high-level inquiry committee has to be conducted, and it is God's grace that no damage has been done. The smoke that came, fortunately, was not toxic. It seems that no damage was done.
But you know,
the members
you are
were
right.
alert.
You are right, sir. Mr. Malhotra, you are right. You know, General Sivaj, but the fact is it was coordinated. It was not even a lone wolf thing. You had 3 people inside and 2 people outside. I mean, so a group had
2 people inside, 2 people
2
outside.
people outside. A group had coordinated. When you are, it's premeditated. It's not even lone wolf. You know, you just can't even give benefit of doubt. I think someone in the intelligence community would really need to answer.
Absolutely. See, the point is, there is a failure of security, no doubt. Remember, if this canister would have been toxic, there may be intention was not to harm. Let us say that once they have managed to come in, they had a canister and the canister had a toxic gas. And then what would have happened? That itself would have been poisonous. So the point is, no doubt about multi-tier security has failed and we have to relook it. How come that, we have not able to check them? And very rightly brought out that there was already a threat from Khalistan terrorist and Sikh for Justice, G.S. Panoon, which has said that they will do something on the anniversary of the parliament attack. So therefore, it would have been much more tight. You see, very correctly, there are multi-tier. First of all, MP, okay, he has given the name of a person who want to come and visit, but thereafter there has to be scrutiny done by the IB person who is coming, what are his credentials, what is his ID proof, and then the security check of frisking the complete body. I have gone 2-3 times Parliament House as to how it is checked. It is thoroughly checked. Your completely body is being checked. Then how did they manage to take the canister? How did they bring it with them? That itself is some question mark. When they came in case they have not brought it, who has given them? How many people are there? How did they manage to come? And then they came to visitor gallery, or from visitor gallery with impunity they could jump. Where are the other security personnel which are in civil dress? Why didn't they jump along with them? Why didn't they nab it? So the point is that in case they really wanted to harm, and if they had a canister with a toxic gas, the harm would have been done, because that they managed to succeed. The toxic gas were released. It was only not, the canister was released. It was not having a toxic gas. So that was a different thing. So the point is, we need to go into detail again. The security of Parliament cannot be taken lightly. What are the different agencies which are involved? If there is a coordination and all, and the security, what it looks on the outer side, there are people in uniform. There are people not in uniform, in civil dress, which are all around this. Where were they? How they never came to know. And this is something like 2 people inside, 2 people outside.
Correct.
They are raising the slogan.
Correct.
So, it is looking very strange. The Parliament House, which we are talking, especially after what has happened on 13th December 2001, we thought we have refined our strategy, we refined our security procedure, but to me it looks like that there are still certain chinks in the armor, and we need to further go into detail, and the thorough investigation must be carried out in this, and we must see where all we have faltered.
Okay, now let me play out a walkthrough of our colleague Manish, who has been in Parliament and reporting.
सबसे पहले हम आपको कुछ तस्वीरें दिखाना चाहेंगे कि इस वक्त संसद परिसर में जो जांच चल रही है वो किस तरह की जांच चल रही है। यहाँ पर दिल्ली पुलिस की या जो फॉरेंसिक इन्वेस्टिगेशन की टीम है वो वहां पर पहुंची हुई है और फॉरेंसिक इन्वेस्टिगेशन की टीम के इस अधिकारी को आप देखिए जो कैमरे से इसे रिकॉर्ड भी कर रहे हैं। साथ ही साथ पर जहां पर कि वो स्मोक बम का इस्तेमाल किया गया था, कैसे उसे एक सफेद सा यहाँ घेरा बनाया गया है, साथ में लिखा गया है कलर स्मोक रेसिड्यू, यानी जहां पर कि कलर स्मोक के जो बुरादे गिरे थे। दिल्ली पुलिस के अधिकारी, यहाँ फॉरेंसिक टीम के अधिकारी, ये सब मौजूद है। वहीं साथ ही में मस्तान जरा सा पीछे वाले हिस्से में दिखाइए, यहाँ पर फॉरेंसिक टीम की जो गाड़ी है वो सब मौजूद है। तो कुल मिलाकर यहाँ पर दिल्ली पुलिस के कमिश्नर आए हुए हैं जो संसद भवन के अंदर में है, सीआरपीएफ के डीजी आए हुए हैं क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी की जिम्मेदारी, बड़ी जिम्मेदारी सीआरपीएफ के पास है। वहीं फॉरेंसिक टीम के अधिकारी यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं जो ठीक संसद परिसर में मौजूद होकर इस वक्त इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहे हैं और उनको इन्वेस्टिगेशन करते हुए लाइव तस्वीरें टीवी 9 पर दुनिया भर के दर्शक देख पा रहे होंगे।
So Brijesh, I think what will happen now?
I think there's going to be a detailed investigation into how the security lapse happened, because more than intelligence failure and them getting inside. The biggest question is that how did that person or those two guys were able to hoodwink the frisking, because as I've been saying it right from the word go, that cylinder is not a small object. It's not a lighter or something where you can carry that small object without getting detected. That cylinder is quite a heavy object, quite a big object, and they were able to carry that inside the issue, go inside the parliament, getting undetected. I think heads will definitely roll, and I think there should be a serious reorientation of how frisking is done. They have to elevate. If it is only electronic frisking, then the electronic frisking level has to be elevated. Otherwise, without that, it could have gone so horribly wrong, Karthik, so horribly wrong that people can't imagine. We don't want to alarm or sound alarmist. That is the reason I've been not venturing into that area. But just imagine for a second, if they had ulterior motives and if they were like more bagged. I mean, if you look at the horrifying scenario, details will emerge, Karthik, because right now, as of now, the police is saying that it's not too much stuff has not been recovered from them. They were upset. People don't know what kind of activists they are, exactly why they were upset and raised slogans which many were saying about Tanashahi nahi chalegi. Were they upset with some policy of the government? Whatever the reason, I think that will come out of detailed investigation.
I think the man who is completely unperturbed, Mr. Ahluwalia,
No, there are a lot of. This is one side of the picture. This is one side of the footage. The other side is the still picture, which shows you the real horror. It's like the entire colored smoke is out there, full fledged. See there, and most of the member of parliaments are looking at it like many shell shocked. And especially those who were close to the intruder who jumped from the visitor gallery, they were able to pin both of them down. And as per the claims made by the member of parliament, he also received some sound thrashing before he was handed over to the security staff. Yeah, they both said that he was given a thrashing. But I mean, apart from that, as many of our esteemed guests and all, and especially Mr. Mishra, who brought out the entire detail in such vivid imagery. It is. I mean, heads must roll. This is something which cannot be acceptable at all.
After 2001, I remember the entire parliament was covered in CCTV. Subsequently, those entry and exit gates were deployed. But the whole idea of those entry and exit gate after 2001 was that how do we control and restrict the entry of people who come to the parliament. A lot of people at that point of time was said that in case people get inside the parliament, half the parliamentarians will not be able to run outside to save their life. And I'm not saying it as a matter of joke. Many parliamentarians told me. It is for those reasons, those exit and entry barricades which would move automatically were not engaged at all. They were disabled. Only at particular positions they were engaged. They were not engaged inside the parliament because they were restricting the movement of the people. Now here, it was not about that. In this parliament, it was about the ability to get to the sanctum sanctorum undetected.
Undetected, and Karthikeya, imagine in the last terror attack also, people say that that they were able to close the door before anybody could infiltrate inside. Otherwise, that would have been a situation which nobody would want to imagine.
They were not able to get inside the parliament, even
Exactly.
when in
That
the
is
old
what I'm saying.
parliament,
That is what I'm
you
saying.
had a gallery.
That is
Then
what
you
I'm
had to
see. That is what I'm saying. Now juxtaposed with this image that he was right there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was right there. These two guys were right there inside the parliament. So this makes it several times more, deadly. It could have gone horribly, horribly wrong.
More than that, see, more than that, they were inside a place where security is not deployed. See, one has to understand that the marshals and the security...
No, the reason why security is not deployed, Karthikeya, is that it's considered to be the safest place.
Everything is outside the well of the house. You see, if the parliament is in session and if the prime minister is not sitting in the well, you don't have any security. You see, there is a place where the officers sit, the staff of the prime minister sit. That's where the SPG is allowed to sit with their weapons. Now, in that case, if the prime minister is not there, you have no security because marshals cannot come inside like that. They ran inside, and marshals only come inside when speaker says so, deployment, voting, all that. It's at the will of the speaker. When these marshals ran in because this was an emergency. And most important of all, it's not a, see, when you come in, it's like, it's like situation room of the American president. You don't have security in the situation room.
No, that's what I'm saying.
If someone goes wrong.
No, but this is the point. The point is when there is no security, it means it has the maximum security.
Correct.
Please try to understand. The reason why there are no marshals inside is that this is supposed to be the most secure zone in the country. The sanctum sanctorum, what you say, what you do, you're not liable to the courts, you're not liable outside. Security wise, there are several layers of security before you enter. That is the reason why there's no security.
2001, I thought, this will never happen to the parliament again. After 2000, people don't understand, after 2001, the road which connected parliament with the parliament annexee was merged. There was a road which would go from one side to the Gurudwara. So it became one complex. So, you could walk to Parliament annexee then. I never thought that I would live up to see a day in my life that there would be a second intrusion like that. Honestly, better part of my young life has been spent covering this Parliament. And to see this intrusion take place tells me that how vulnerable security systems are. You can have the best security systems. Hamas will happen in Israel. You can have best security system anywhere. Intrusion will take place. It requires reflexes and human. There is no alternative to human. They must have planned it. We will come to know what happened. What were they talking? What was the point they were trying to make? We will be on this story. Today we will not be on many other stories. Even if we have bulletins on business and other stories, we will only do part of it. But we will be on this story as to who these people were. How did this happen? And before we move on to other details, I'm throwing a plethora of bites to my viewers, the reactions, the disgust which the parliamentarians have expressed at this breach of security.
माननीय सदस्यगण, जो घटना शून्यकाल के समय घटित हुई थी, उस घटना की लोकसभा अपने स्तर पर संपूर्ण जांच कर रही है और इस संबंध में दिल्ली पुलिस को भी आवश्यक निर्देश दे दिए गए हैं। लेकिन जो हम सबकी चिंता थी कि वह धुआं क्या था, वह अभी तक प्रारंभिक जांच में जो जांच की उसमें वह साधारण धुआं और सनसनी फैलने वाला धुआं था, इसलिए उस धुएं की कोई ऐसी चिंता का विषय नहीं, उसकी प्रारंभिक ठीक से जांच कर ली गई है। जिन माननीय सदस्यों ने आज नियम 377 के अधीन मामलों को उठाने के एक मिनट सब आप एक मिनट प्लीज, नो, ओके नहीं एक मिनट प्लीज बालू जी प्लीज, अपन सब वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं।
माफी चाहता हूं कि इस सदन में जो सिक्योरिटी का और लोकसभा में जो दो लोग घुस के वहां पर गड़बड़ किए, उस वक्त यहाँ पर भी उसका आवाज उठाया गया था, लेकिन आपने सदन चलने के लिए अनुमति दी, लेकिन जो समस्या है वो बहुत गंभीर है। ये सिर्फ लोकसभा और राज्यसभा का प्रश्न नहीं है, ये प्रश्न है कि इतने बड़े सिक्योरिटी में कैसा दो लोग अंदर आकर वहां पर सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच करके उन्होंने पूरा, जैसा कि
एक सेकंड प्लीज, I'll give you एक सेकंड. The moment I came to know about it, I called the director of security. I told him to give me an update. The update which he gave me at that point of time, I have shared with the House. It is a matter of concern, but let us await full details, and then I think we'll be able to reflect. I indicated to the members after getting authentic input that the intruders were arrested. The matter is being looked into.
हमारे साथ इस समय बीएसपी सांसद मलुक नागर मौजूद हैं और निश्चित तौर पर आज नागर साहब को इस बात का श्रेय जाता है कि सदन के अंदर जिन्होंने इतनी तत्परता दिखाई। सबसे पहले तो सलाम है नागर साहब आपको, आपने मुझे लगता है कुछ सेकंड के अंदर कोशिश की उसको धर दबोचने की।
जी
क्या हुआ था बताइए आप।
जैसे ही हम अपना 6 मिनट या 5 मिनट रह रही थी, 1 मिनट घड़ी का अंतर होता है, 0 आवर खत्म होने वाला था, लंच डिक्लेयर होने वाला था,
यानी 12:54 मिनट 12:54 मिनट
12:54 मिनट या 12:55 मिनट थी। वो धड़ाम जैसी पीछे आवाज आई तो लगा गैलरी में किसी का ऊपर से पैर रपट गया, किसी ने धक्का दे दिया, कोई गिरा है। तो उधर देखा था एक और कूद रहा है, तो जब तक वो नीचे जमीन पे आया, जब तक जो पहले वाला था वो उठ के खड़ा हुआ और एकदम जंप ली उसने, जिधर से निकल के जा सकते हैं उधर को नहीं गया। वो पहला जंप जिधर एमपी बैठते हैं, फिर दूसरी सीट का जंप तीसरी पे कूद रहा था, तो उधर से फिर मैं भागा, उधर से हनुमान बेनीवाल भागा और कई एमपी आए और जैसे ही उसे पकड़ने को थे तो तुरंत उसने जूता निकाला।
अच्छा, जूता फिर निकाला उसने?
जूता निकाला तो जूता एकदम हाथ में, तो एकदम पकड़ लिया उसे और उसने उस समय जब पकड़ रहे थे तो हाथ पैर काफी चलाए, पर शायद उसने कोई चीज खोली जिसमें से गैस ऐसी निकली और ऐसा धुआं निकला, कुछ नीला कुछ पीला सा, जो पूरे में हो गया। तो जो एमपी अंदर भी थे वो भी बाहर भाग लिए और हमें तो उस समय सीधा एक दिमाग में चीज आई कि इस पे वेपन कुछ होगा तो ये मारेगा सब।
मैं अभी आपसे यही पूछ रहा था कि वैसे तो ईश्वर की कृपा से आप अच्छे कद काठी के भी हैं, लेकिन फिर भी तो मन में डर लगा होगा जब जूते से निकाला कि पता नहीं क्या हथियार होगा, क्या होगा नहीं होगा।
डर लगा, ये सच है और ऐसा लगा कि मौत सामने खड़ी है, बिल्कुल ऐसा लगा। लेकिन उस समय सिर्फ ये सोचा कि अब तो जो होगा देखा जाएगा, इन पे अगर वेपन है तो ऐसी इस तरफ पकड़ लें ताकि ये उन्हें चला ना पाए।
तो आप थे और हनुमान बेनीवाल साहब थे, दोनों ठीक ठाक अच्छे कदकाठी के आप लोग सांसद हैं। और इसके अलावा और भी अगर आपको रिकलेक्ट करें, कितने सांसद आ गए थे तब तक?
4-5 लोग और आगे थे।
और वो संसद के सुरक्षा वाले लोग कहाँ थे?
वो भी जैसे ही हम उनको पिटाई कर रहे थे, जब वो भी आगे थे पीछे से, और वो फिर पकड़ के उनको लेकर के गए। तो जो सिक्योरिटी वाली एक लेडी थी जो पेपर ले करती है, तो वो बहुत जोर से रो रही थी।
वो रोने लगी?
नहीं, रोई हुई थी।
मुझे लगता है वो गैस की वजह से भी हो सकता है,
गैस की
डर से?
नहीं, उस समय डर से वो बेहोश,
डर से
वो नजदीक थी, क्योंकि जब वो ऊपर से कूदे नजदीक थी वो
स्वाभाविक है। अगर कोई गैलरी से इतने ऊंचे से कूदेगा, और आप तो कह रहे हैं कि एक की आवाज सुनी गिरने की आपने और दूसरे को आपने कूदते देखा
कूदते हुए।
अच्छा, उसी समय आपके मन में आया कि इसको पहले कब्जा करना पड़ेगा?
जैसे ही वो दूसरा कूदा तो वो तो उठ नहीं पाया, जो पहला कूदा था वो उठ के जंप करके भागा जिधर स्पीकर और जिधर प्राइम मिनिस्टर और होम मिनिस्टर या सारे मिनिस्टर बैठते हैं उधर की तरफ को। तो क्लियर हो गया था कि इनकी इंटेंशन।
आपके मन में उसमें पहली बार क्या ख्याल है?
पहली बार झटके से आया, इन पे वेपन होगा, ये गोली मारेंगे, जितने भी लोग अंदर हैं हमें भी सबको किसी तरह भाग के पकड़ लो, जब वेपन ना चला पाए। ये दिमाग में एकदम ये दिमाग में
मलिक साहब, ये तो स्वाभाविक है। और उसके बाद फिर मान लीजिए जब आपने उसको कब्जा करने की कोशिश की, कुछ बोल रहा था वो
मुझको जिस समय नजदीक आ रहे थे, एक दो शब्द आ रहे थे, तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, इस तरह का कुछ वो बोल रहा था।
तो फिर आपको लगा होगा कि ये प्रोटेस्ट है, ना कि ये कोई ऐसा आदमी है जो कि मतलब जान के लिए खतरा हो सकता है सांसदों।
दिमाग में ये आया जो इसने खोला है, ये कहीं वायरस या कोई जहर की गैस तो नहीं है, कहीं मर तो नहीं जाएंगे, ये दिमाग में जरूर आया।
फिर लग रहा था जब गैस आया था तो
फिर लगा कि इसे जो भी होना होगा पीट तो लें। तो जब उसकी अपने सेल्फ डिफेंस में ये कुछ निकाल के ना मार दे, बस गुस्से में उसके जब पिटाई थोड़ी सी जरूर करी।
हाँ, नहीं वो तो स्वाभाविक है। उस समय तो देखिए आपने तो कोई सोचा नहीं था कि इसको मारना है, आपको तो बस उस समय इंस्टेंट ये रख रहा है कि इसको कब्जे में लेना है।
बेसिकली नेचुरल बेसिक इंस्टिंक्ट था उस समय कि भाई ये मारने आया तो इसे मारे।
नहीं, मैं ये बात कहता हूँ निश्चित तौर पर कि इसका सारा श्रेय नगर सभा आपको जाता है, जिस बखूबी के साथ आपने उसको कब्जे में लेने की कोशिश की, दबोचने की कोशिश की। लेकिन फिर वही बात जो आप कह रहे हैं कि ये मन में आया कि कहीं वायरस हो गया, कहीं कुछ ऐसा गैस हो गया जो कि जानलेवा हो, तो फिर किसी की खैर नहीं है।
हाँ, दिमाग में ये डर चल रहा था और उसकी जिस तरह पिटाई हुई, फिर वो सिक्योरिटी वाले आ गए, उसे पीट करके बाहर ले गए। दिमाग में एक और चीज भी थी साथ के साथ कि 13 तारीख को घटना घटी।
बिल्कुल, मैं अभी आपसे यही पूछने वाला, आज 13 दिसंबर है
और एक कूद के और जिधर प्राइम मिनिस्टर और मिनिस्टर बैठते हैं और स्पीकर बैठते हैं उधर को ये भाग रहे हैं। तो इन पर पक्का कुछ ना कुछ वेपन है और इरादे इनके खतरनाक हैं। इसीलिए कि पकड़ लो जिससे चला ना पाए, क्योंकि अगर उसको पकड़ लेंगे चला सकता नहीं है, और अगर पकड़ेंगे तो बहुतों को मार देता। वहाँ तो कई सौ MP सामने घूम रहे थे सारे।
उसके बाद तो अनर्थ ही हो जाता। अगर मान लीजिए जो काम 13 दिसंबर 2001 को नहीं हो पाया, जबकि हाँ नहीं, फिर भी आप एक बात देखिए, 13 दिसंबर 2001 को कम से कम वो सदन के अंदर नहीं जा पाए थे, संसद के बिल्डिंग के अंदर नहीं जा पाए थे। आज वो सदन के भीतर थे, बस अंतर ये था कि उनके पास हथियार नहीं था, स्मोक बम था।
दिमाग में ये था कि 1 दिसंबर को तो बाहर रह गए थे और आज अंदर आ गए, और इन पे वेपन भी होंगे, तो डर उसके सोच के भी और डर दिमाग में और भी ज्यादा।
लेकिन आपने फिर सोचा जो होगा देखा जाएगा।
जो होगा देखा जाएगा, उसमें तो कोई बात ही नहीं है। जहाँ से हम आते हैं, जहाँ रहते हैं, जैसी जाति में पैदा हुए हैं, वो तो फिर कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है उस तरह किसी को।
निश्चित तौर पर देखिए, सलाम है आपको। लेकिन नागर साहब एक बात बताइए, चूंकि आप भी सांसद हैं, बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं आपके कभी सिग्नेचर करके पास बनवा के आते हैं। जो बताया जा रहा है कि जिन सांसद का, वैसे नाम आ गया लेकिन मैं नाम नहीं ले रहा हूँ, कि उन सांसद के कहने पर जो है सो पास बनाए गए थे, तो आपको क्या लगता है बतौर सांसद उनकी कितनी जिम्मेदारी बनती है?
देखिए, अगर किसी को हम जानते हैं तो पास तो उसी को बनानी चाहिए, और जिम्मेदारी बनती भी है कि जिसको ये आदमी अच्छा मेरी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का मैं जानता हूँ, ये मेरा जानने वाला मैं जानता हूँ, तो इसका बनाऊँ मैं। तो खाली साइन करके दे देंगे, उसमें किसी का भी नाम भर देंगे, गलती तो वहाँ भी है। और उसके बाद जहाँ सिक्योरिटी चेक में वो जूते में कुछ रख के लेके आ रहे हैं, उसकी भी है। और जहाँ जाके वो बैठे हैं वहाँ सिक्योरिटी के लोग होने चाहिए जो जरा भी कोई हिलर कूदने की कोशिश करे तो पकड़ें, उसकी भी है। जहाँ अंदर कूदे वहाँ जो लोग सिक्योरिटी खड़े होने चाहिए, उसकी भी है। जहाँ से वो उठ के भागे, 3 जंप लिए, वहाँ होना चाहिए सिक्योरिटी, वहाँ भी है। हम लोगों को
जब आप लोग सर जब आप लोग हाउस में होते हैं और हम लोग प्रेस गैलरी में जाते हैं, तो हमें तो मोबाइल छोड़िए, मतलब कुछ भी ले जाने की इजाजत नहीं होती है, बस केवल एक पेन मैं लेके जा सकता हूँ और पेन और कॉपी लेके जा सकता हूँ। और वैसी स्थिति में मेरे पास वो क्रैकर था जिसका इस्तेमाल किया गया, जिससे गैस निकाला गया, उसकी साइज आपके मोबाइल के बराबर की साइज की है। वही लगता है कि कैसे इतना बड़ा जूते में लेकर गया। इसके
जूते में था पक्का 100%। उसने जूते पे निकालने पे बहुत जोर दिया, जूता निकाला है सामने, और जूते निकालते ही हमने पकड़ा और वो नीचे को मुड़ा है। तो इसका मतलब उसने जब वो चीज खींची है, हम पिटाई हो रही थी।
तो वैसी स्थिति में आपको लगता है कि ये जिम्मेदारी सुरक्षा एजेंसियों की है? सांसद को तो मान लीजिए कि वेरीफाई करने के बाद उन्होंने दे दिया, अब सदन में चाहे जो हो वो कैसे उसका अंदाजा लगा पाएंगे?
देखिए, इसकी जिम्मेदारी को अकेला किसी पे नहीं बांट सकते, जिम्मेदारी मिलजुल के है। जो क्षेत्र में जब आया, सांसद के जब घर में घुसा जब भी है, जब सांसद से मिला जब भी है, जब सांसद ने पहचाना जब भी है, जब संसद के पहले गेट पे आया जब भी है, जब संसद के गेट में घुस रहा है जब भी है, जब गैलरी में जा रहा है जब भी है, जब कूदा है जब भी है, कूदने के बाद जब मिनिस्टर्स की तरफ को, प्राइम मिनिस्टर जहाँ बैठते हैं वहाँ भागा, स्पीकर की तरफ को जब भी है। 7-8 जगह हैं जहाँ सारे के सारे बैरियर पार करके उसने वो काम कर दिया जो कभी पहले आजादी से पहले कभी आजादी के समय पे सुनने को आया था।
Yeah, some people jumped out from the gallery and some kind of gas they are spreading inside.
Lok Sabha.
Inside Lok Sabha.
क्या हुआ?
Gas jumped out.
गैस छिट रहा है।
Some gas.
Jump करके आ रही है।
बहुत सारे लोग हैं।
बहुत सारे लोग। Of course I have seen.
How many people were there, ma'am?
Jumped from the gallery.
How many persons?
And they are trying to run and beating. Some kind of gas is being thrown on the inside the house. किस तरह की कर रहे थे मैम?
कुछ नारा वगैरह भी लगा रहे थे?
हम लोग को भागने से जाना।
देखिए, शून्यकाल था और राजेंद्र अग्रवाल चेयर पे थे, लोकसभा अध्यक्ष उस समय अपने चैम्बर में थे, और जब शून्यकाल में अगला नंबर मेरा बोलने का था और इसीलिए मैं वहाँ बैठा हुआ था कि भाई नेक्स्ट मेरा नंबर था, और हमने देखा कि हड़कंप मच गया। सब लोग पीछे की ओर देख रहे हैं, गैलरी की ओर देख रहे हैं, जो विजिटर गैलरी उसकी ओर देख रहे हैं। हमने देखा कि एक व्यक्ति कूद चुका था और दूसरा लटक के कूद रहा था, और वो जो लड़का पहला कूदा, क्योंकि सांसदों की संख्या उस बीच वाली जो हमारी रो उसमें कम थी, तो कूदता हुआ आगे की ओर बढ़ रहा था, और दूसरे वाला उसके पीछे पीछे और बढ़ रहा था। कुछ सांसद उसकी ओर भागे। एक जो आगे चल रहा था, जो लोकसभा अध्यक्ष की चेयर को टारगेट करके उधर की ओर जा रहा, उसको मैंने रोक दिया उसको वहाँ पे। उसके बाद और सांसद भी आगे, जब रोका और उसके साथ उसको जब वहाँ रोक के उसको दबोच लिया, उसके बाद जब उठा रहे थे उसको, तब उसने अपने जूते से निकाल के वो गैस उसने छोड़ी, और दूसरा वाला जब पकड़ के दबोचे गए तो उसने भी गैस छोड़ी, जिससे एक बार लोकसभा के अंदर हड़कंप मच गया। और चूंकि नई लोकसभा बनने के बाद जिस तरह इस नई लोकसभा का बखान किया गया था कि ये होगा, वो होगा, फलां होगा, ये होगा, और किस आज बरसी भी है कि हमारे पार्लियामेंट में 2001 पे जो अटैक हुआ था, हमारे लोगों ने शहादत दी। 13 दिसंबर का दिन, आज इसी दिन को चुन के उन लोगों ने पार्लियामेंट के अंदर कूद के सीधा ये संदेश दे दिया कि अभी भी आप लोग सुरक्षित हैं, हम जब चाहे जो कर सकते हैं। और वो कह रहे थे हम प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं। किस बात का प्रोटेस्ट इस तरह थोड़े थे पार्लियामेंट के अंदर आप कूद के प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं।
क्या कह रहे थे वो, क्या कह रहे थे?
प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, मारो मत हमारे को, यही कह रहे थे। वो सांसदों ने उनको क्या थोड़ा धोया भी ढंग से।
आपने हाथ साफ किया उसको?
पक्का ही किया था।
क्या उनको जब आप लोगों ने हैंड ओवर किया तो उनकी स्थिति ठीक थी?
हाँ, रोने लग गया था, मारो मत हमारे,
मारो मत। क्या क्यों कर रहे हैं ये नहीं बता रहे थे।
अब ये तो अब जांच एजेंसी पता करें। इसके अंदर जिनके वो विजिटर, जिनके गेस्ट थे, मैं कह रहा हूँ उनसे भी पूछताछ होनी चाहिए, किसके गेस्ट थे भाई आखिर। इस तरह आ रहे हैं, हमारे तो गेस्ट नहीं आते, बहुत कम लोग आते हैं। इस तरह घुस रहे हैं भेड़ बकरियों की तरह अंदर, कौन है क्या है, इसकी भी जांच होनी चाहिए।
देखिए, जहाँ पे हम लोगों की सीट है उसके कोने पे पीछे ऊपर दर्शक दीर्घा है, वहाँ से एक आवाज़ आती है धुड़ुम जैसी। हमने लौट करके देखा और हमें लगा कि शायद ऊपर से कोई गिरा है। तो जैसे ही देख ही रहे थे क्या गिरा क्या हुआ, एक ऊपर से दूसरा आदमी कूदा। जैसे ही वो कूदा तो एकदम इंटेंशन साफ दिखी, कुछ गड़बड़ है। तो वो जहाँ से निकलते हैं या जिधर दौड़ सकते थे वहाँ कर नहीं गए, सीटों के बीच में जंप करता हुआ जंप जैसे ही तीसरी पे जंप कर रहा था तो तुरंत हम 6-7 MP लोग भागे, क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी की जो लड़की जो
अचानक देखा कि दर्शक दीर्घा से कोई नीचे गिरा। हम लोगों ने कोई गिर गया होगा, तुरंत देखा दूसरा भी एक छलांग लगा दिया। 2 लड़के थे, काले पैंट शर्ट सब पहने थे, फिर वो कूद करके इधर उधर जाने लगे। तो समझ नहीं आया कि उसके बाद लगा कि ये जानबूझ कर हुए हैं। तो बाकी माननीय सांसद थे, उनको घेरने लगे, पकड़ने, तुरंत दोनों को पकड़ लिया गया। तब तो एक ने जूता निकाला, जूता से कोई ये निकाल करके पीला वाला धुआं छोड़ने लगा, तो दोनों का हाथ से वो निकला, वो भी छुड़ा लिया गया। फिर दोनों को पकड़ करके बाहर ले गए, मार्शल भी आ गए। इतना ही पता चला।
कुछ नारे भी लगा रहे थे क्या?
ताना सही नहीं चलेगा ऐसा कुछ बोल रहे थे। फिर बाहर आके देखे, उनको तो पकड़ लिए थे, अब ले गए। क्यों आए, लखनऊ से संभवतः आए हैं, क्या है उसके पीछे बाकी पता चलेगा।
कुछ नाम वाम तो नहीं पता चला होगा?
नहीं, उनको पीछे है।
तो क्या अंदर में क्या माहौल था? पूरा लोग पैनिक मच गया होगा?
थोड़ा तो चिंतित थे लोग, कैसे ये लोग आ गए, ये सब सामान कैसे आया, तो दूसरा कुछ हो सकता था, ये सब चर्चा हो रही थी। भाई का पहले तो थोड़ा घबरा गए लोग कि क्या वो ऊपर से कैसे लोग कूद गए, कौन है ये लोग। तो बाद में चला कि केवल शायद प्रचार करने के लिए लोग अपना जाहिर करने के लिए आए थे। बाकी छानबीन से पता चलेगा पीछे किसका हाथ पकड़ के आए हैं, कैसे आए हैं, क्या है।
सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच इसको मानते हैं आप? 13 दिसंबर भी है।
नहीं, सिक्योरिटी तो और कड़क होना चाहिए, छानबीन होना चाहिए, चाहे तो मेटल डिटेक्टर यूज करना चाहिए। कोई भी छोटा मोटा चीज़ कोई लेके आ जाएगा तो पकड़ने के लिए व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए। फ़ोन वगैरह रख के आते हैं लोग, लेकिन इस प्रकार कोई सामान लेके आ जाएँ तो आगे और दूसरा भी कुछ ला सकते हैं, इसलिए सावधान रहना चाहिए।
स्पीकर गैलरी में जब हम हाउस देखने के लिए गए थे तो उसके बाद में साथ में जैसे बैठे हुए थे, जब साथ में जैसे बैठे हुए थे तो वो एकदम ही सडनली हमें आवाज़ आई कुछ नीचे गिरने के लिए। तो जैसे जब नीचे जब गिरे तो देखा कि कोई बंदा कोई कूद गया। हमने सोचा शायद कोई गिर गया है वैसे, लेकिन वो नीचे गिरा और फिर वो सडनली भागने भी लगा, जैसे स्पीकर
एमपीज की तरफ भागने लगा
स्पीकर की तरफ।
और जैसे ही उसको पकड़ा तो उसके पीछे पीछे एक दूसरा भी आदमी था, वो एकदम से बालकनी से कूदा। और जो पहले जो आगे जा रहा था उसको एमपीज ने पकड़ा, बट उसने अपने शूज में से कोई स्प्रे निकाला और सारे में स्प्रे करने लग गया।
शूज के अंदर से निकाला?
शूज के अंदर से निकाला उसने,
मतलब छुपा के लाया था?
जी। और जो दूसरा भी था वो उसने भी अपने शूज में से निकाला और तभी इतनी भगदड़ मच गई।
वो कुछ नारा भी लगा रहा था क्या अंदर में? कुछ
नहीं, नारे का तो हमें पता नहीं, क्योंकि इतनी भगदड़ मच गई थी, हम लोग वहाँ से भागे जान बचा के, बट एमपीज ने उसको पकड़ लिया।
एमपीज नहीं पकड़ा?
हाँ जी, एमपी साहब ने पकड़ा उसको ना, काफी मतलब हाँ जी, काफी एमपीज ने ही पकड़ा उसको। वो तो भागता जा रहा था, मतलब उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश करी। फिर एक के साथ में वो ऊपर से, मतलब पहले एक जैसे कूदा, फिर दूसरा भी कूदा, फिर उसको भी पकड़ने के लिए काफी कोशिश करी उन्होंने, ज्यादा दूर तक नहीं जा पाया, उनको एमपीज ने पकड़ लिया वहाँ पे। फिर बाद में सिक्योरिटी वगैरह वाले भी आ गए, तो कुछ स्प्रे कुछ ऐसा हो रहा था, स्पार्कल सा होकर फिर उसमें स्मोक आ रहा था बाहर।
गंभीर विषय है। इस विषय को मैंने कल भी उठाया था पार्लियामेंट में 0 आवर के समय पे, कि वो गुरपत सिंह मानू जो है, जो खालिस्तानी टेररिस्ट है, अमेरिका में बैठा हुआ है, उसने बाकायदा ये थ्रेट दिया था कि 13 दिसंबर को पार्लियामेंट अटैक करूंगा मैं। आप फिर भी उस पर हाथ पे हाथ रखे बैठे रहे, आपने सीरियसली नहीं लिया। लास्ट सेशन में इतनी महिलाओं की संख्या को लेकर आ रहे थे, कौन साइन कर रहा था? वो लोग नारेबाजी कर रहे थे मोदी जी के लिए। मैंने तभी भी कहा सिक्योरिटी चेक होनी चाहिए, पुख्ता होनी चाहिए। टेम्पल ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, इन द मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी पे इस तरीके का हमला होता है, ये दिखाता है सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच है और उस पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और थोड़ी, मैं मानती हूँ, सख्ती बरतनी चाहिए। जिस तरीके से भारी संख्या में विजिटर्स आते हैं, कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, कोई नियंत्रण नहीं है।
The fact that these people were apparently sponsored by a sitting MP of the ruling party, I don't want to take any names until the details are publicly known. Secondly, that these fellows smuggled in these smoke pistols, which shows a very serious security lapse. Thirdly, that not only did they fire the pistols, they leapt into the floor, they shouted some slogans which are not audible to some of us, but the fact that they did that is better than if they had actually tried to kill people. This is the anniversary of a tragic assault in Parliament where 7 of our people died. I mean, we can't, take these matters lightly. The new building does not seem to be configured very well when it comes to security by comparison with the arrangements in the old building. And so all of these concerns are being raised and there's a great deal of agitation. The smoke was deemed to be non-poisonous. But because the smell of the smoke is still in the House, many MPs were unwilling to continue with that still in the air. So in the end, I think what is happening is that the Speaker is calling all the floor leaders for a discussion at 4. I'm sure these and other concerns will be laid before him and then the Speaker will have to take a decision.
संसद लोकतंत्र का मंदिर है, वहाँ इस तरह की घटनाएं नहीं होनी चाहिए। और आप देखिए दिन कौन सा चुना, आज ही के दिन 23 साल पहले इसी संसद में हमला हुआ था और ये आज शहीदी, उनके शहीदों को जो मारे गए थे लोग, उनको हम लोगों ने श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित की सुबह आके यहाँ पे सारे दलों के लोगों ने, और उसी दिन ये घटना भी हुई। और आप देखिए ना कि सदन के अंदर धुआं उठ के जहरीली गैस ले जाते, कुछ ले जाते तो एकदम सबके संकट हो जाता। तो चूक तो है ही सुरक्षा की, लेकिन जब तक इसमें विवरण ना आ जाए, पता नहीं ला जाए, मुझे लगता किसी को इसमें जल्दबाजी में कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये संसद पर हमला सबके ऊपर एक आघात है, सबके ऊपर ही होता है। तो इसलिए इन चीज़ों को बहुत सतर्कता से इन पे प्रतिक्रिया देनी चाहिए। जब तक हमें सारा विवरण नहीं मिल जाए, मुझे नहीं लगता इसमें जल्दबाजी में किसी को भी प्रतिक्रिया देनी चाहिए।
नहीं, बिल्कुल देखिए, चूक तो हुई है और इस पे मतलब अध्ययन करने की ज़रूरत है, समीक्षा करने की ज़रूरत है और प्रोटोकॉल्स को और अगर स्ट्रिक्ट करने की ज़रूरत है तो उसको किया जाना चाहिए। भाई देश की संसद है, देश भर से चुने हुए सांसद यहाँ पर आते हैं। ना सिर्फ ये सांसदों की सुरक्षा का मामला है, बल्कि देश के प्रधानमंत्री, देश के गृह मंत्री, देश के रक्षा मंत्री यहीं पर बैठते हैं। तो ऐसे में अगर सदन में अगर इस तरीके की घटना होगी तो उसका संदेश यकीनन देश भर में ठीक नहीं जाता। और ऐसे में मुझे लगता है जिम्मेदारी और जवाबदेही भी तय होने की ज़रूरत है। जिस तरीके से संसद के परिसर में हम लोग सांसदों को देखते हैं और आम जनता भी, जो विजिटर्स आते हैं वो पासेस लेके घूमते हैं और बिना क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन किए हुए कि व्यक्ति कौन है नहीं है, कई बार सांसद लोग भी हस्ताक्षर कर देते हैं। इन तमाम चीज़ों पर नियम, कायदे, कानूनों को और सख्त करने की ज़रूरत है। बिना पहचान के किसी को भी सदन में जाने की अनुमति नहीं होनी चाहिए। दर्शक दीर्घा और सांसदों के बीच में कितनी दूरी, आज इतने सहजता से वो कूद गया, ये दर्शाता है कि आज ये घटना घटी, कल को कोई और बहुत बड़ी घटना भी घट सकती थी। तो ऐसे में नियम, कायदे, कानूनों को अगर और सख्त करने की ज़रूरत है। जिम्मेदारी इंक्लूडिंग सांसदों की, जो साइन करते हैं या जिनके रेफरेंस से लोग आते हैं, उसको और जितना सख्त करने की ज़रूरत है, किया जाना चाहिए।
It was a terrible experience. It is inside the floor of the house. Suddenly we found 2 persons jumped and one is coming gradually forward. What is the target? How? Why they are moving like this? Nobody could guess. Suddenly some smoke started penetrating. It's a yellowish color. So all were in a nervous mood. I was expecting maybe they are going to blast something or maybe they are going to shoot somewhere. But ultimately all left the house. It is a security lapse. Today is the day. We should not forget that it is the day particular when our parliament was attacked. So how they entered into its instruments, releasing smoke, releasing sound, rushing one after one. No security inside the house. They at least jumped young people.
कोई एक का नाम जिसका मैंने पास देखा सिक्योरिटी ऑफिशियल्स के साथ, कोई सागर करके है, और वो हमारे जो मैसूर के सांसद हैं माननीय प्रताप सिम्हा जी, उनके गेस्ट के रूप में हुआ है।
तो किस तरह का गैस था कि,
अब ये क्या बताइए, सिक्योरिटी का काम है।
हालांकि कोई आप लोग को दिक्कत हुआ सांसदों को उस गैस से?
नहीं, कोई ऐसा नहीं, लेकिन भगदड़ मच गई, लेकिन उनको पकड़ लिया गया, दोनों लोग कस्टडी में। Suddenly two people from the visitors galley jumped into the house. They had canisters in their hand. These canisters were emitting yellow smoke. One was attempting to run towards the speaker's chair. He was overpowered by members, and I do not know, they were shouting some slogans which I couldn't make about. But the fact that there were two people who could come into the visitors galley with canisters which could emit smoke, this smoke could have been toxic, it could have been poisonous, or it could have even been smoke bombs, we do not know. But it emitted an yellow smoke, and this is a serious breach of security, especially on 13th of December, the day in which Parliament was attacked in 2001.
How much would have been the age, sir?
20 and 30, young men wearing jeans.
जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं, विजिटर्स हो चाहे रिपोर्टर्स हो, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो कि किसी के टैग्स नहीं है रिपोर्टर्स के, सो एवरीबॉडी इज लाइक एक दूसरे से टकराते हुए जाते हैं। तो आई थिंक सो गवर्नमेंट को ध्यान देना चाहिए। आई थिंक इट्स अ कंप्लीट सिक्योरिटी लैप्स एंड कुछ भी हो सकता था हाउस के अंदर, एंड मोरओवर जहाँ पे हम खड़े हैं यहाँ पे प्रॉपर वॉच भी नहीं है, एमपीसी कोई।
ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है। बहुत ही टाइट सिक्योरिटी के बाद भी इस तरह की घटना हो जाए तो ये दुखद है, क्योंकि ये तो और कुछ भी बहुत हो सकता था।
जहाँ मेरी सीट है उसके ऊपर गैलरी की तरफ से पहले एक कूदा, फिर दूसरा कूदा, और जो अंदर चलने की जगह होती है उसके बजाय 20 सीट से सीटों को ऊपर कर कूद के आ रहे थे। तो हम 7-8 एमपी उसकी तरफ भागे, और जब उसको लगा कि घेर लिए तो एक ने उसमें से एक जूता निकाला और जूते में से कोई चीज निकाली, और जैसे ही निकाल के उसने कोई चीज खोली तो धुआं निकलना शुरू हुआ। फिर हम लोगों ने पकड़ के उसकी पिटाई भी की, फिर सिक्योरिटी वाले भी आ गए, फिर उठाकर रख के लेके गए हैं। कुछ तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, इस तरह का कुछ वो बोल रहा था।
लोकसभा के भीतर बहुत बड़ी घटना घटी कि हम लोगों का 0 आवर चल रहा था और मेरा भी नंबर 20वां नंबर था, लेकिन एक करके जैसे एक नीचे गिरा और दूसरा भी कूद के नीचे गिरा, और दौड़ करके सीट से जंप करते हुए अध्यक्ष की तरफ भागता हुआ और कह रहा था कि तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, और जो उसका जूता था उस जूते के नीचे से निकाल करके उसने, और तब धुआं निकालना शुरू किया। उसके बाद हम सभी एमपी वहां पर इकट्ठा होकर के उसको पकड़ने का काम किया, मारने पीटने का काम, उसके बाद सिक्योरिटी आई। तो ये बहुत बड़ी घटना है, और जिस तरीके से ऐसे लोग लोकसभा की कार्रवाई देखने के लिए आते हैं, आज तो ये नॉर्मल घटना थी, लेकिन इसके बाद बहुत बड़ी घटना हो सकती है। इसको भारत सरकार को गंभीरता से लेने की जरूरत है।
With all this gear, you must be wondering if I'm climbing a mountain. Well, let me give you a wider look of this place. This is Asia's largest mountain of shame.
A mountain of waste, almost the height of the Qutub Minar.
When you enter capital cities of some of the biggest countries in the world, you don't have 3 garbage mountains waiting to welcome you, depending on whichever side of the city you enter from.
The thing is that a lot of times we talk about landfills only when there's a fire at the landfill. You need to understand that a landfill is at fire almost throughout the year. It's only when the firefighters are not able to douse the fire is when it actually catches the nation's attention, the city's attention, or media attention.
The towering landfills worsen one of Delhi's biggest problems: pollution.
यहाँ पर आप रात को आओ, दिन में आओ, आप 1 घंटे बैठ नहीं सकते बाहर। इतनी धूल, प्रदूषण, महक, आप खाना भी नहीं खा सकते बाहर बैठ के।
Life around the landfill is a curse.
हमारे घर में जो बड़े हैं उन्हें अस्थमा के वो पेशेंट है, आए दिन उनको नेबुलाइजर लगाना पड़ता है।
डॉक्टर ने भी मुझे ये चीज बोला कि यहाँ का एरिया छोड़ के कहीं और चाहिए।